Why, hello! Welcome to the Captain's Cast. Left? Oh, the captain is back. The captain never left. Or maybe I was gone for so long I forgot how to freaking do this. I forgot how to freaking stream. Is my mic too hot? Is the mic too hot? Let me just check in here. Testing. How does it sound? Sounded pretty good. Yeah, it sounded pretty good. Sounded pretty good, Mr. Producer. I gotta say, it feels good. It feels good to be back in the captain's chair here on the Captain's Cast. Welcome. I am your host, Captain Garrett, of the Swords and Starships YouTube channel. Our continuing mission to explore bold stories, amazing characters, and beauty in art. And on that very subject, Project Hail Mary. What a film. This is why we go to the cinema, folks. This is why we do it. It is spectacular. It is a spectacular film. I had a hell of a time. And you know, the amazing thing is the film starts and I am just a little bit thrown off by the opening. Now, I'm not a huge fan of The Martian, which is also based on an Andy Weir. It's not because it's a bad film. The Martian's a good film. It really is. It's enjoyable. It's a lot of fun. It's sort of like if there were an entire Iron Man movie and it was just about Iron Man building the suit, which is the best part of the movie. The problem is it's missing some pieces to make it sort of a full film experience. And Silo, which is also based on Andy Weir's work, that I wouldn't really attribute to him as directly, but Silo's, I don't know, is it better than Pluribus? I don't know, Mr. Producer. That's a tall order. Let's just say for now, it's about the best thing going on the Apple streaming platform. Project Hail Mary is a different story. When this film when it kicks in, when you start to get the sense of where it's going, it really worms its way in there. I gotta tell you, it worms its way in there, and before you know it, you're like, this film is stealing my heart, and it was spectacular. Soundtrack is awesome, by the way. Soundtrack is awesome. Do yourself a favor, pull up the Project Hail Mary soundtrack and listen to the track Let's Go Fishing. It's framed in the way a certain character says it. I'm not gonna do like any major spoilers, but the problem is to talk about why this film is so miraculous and awesome is to introduce, in my view, mild spoilers. So we're not going to get into that right off the jump, but there will be sort of mild spoilers because I have to talk about the characters in the film. I suppose it's not exactly a secret that Rocky steals the show. I didn't know Rocky was a character in the movie when I went into seeing it. That was a total surprise. I thought this was very much like The Martian. I thought this was going to be a one-man show, but it turns out there's a second character in the film. It's spectacular. We have Crowbar the Skull is in the chat. Says, yay, Captain. Ahoy, Crowbar. It's good to be back. We have Wrangler saying a whole lot of Ola with a $4.20 super chat. Roll that applause. Let the people be heard, Mr. Producer. Tea, Earl Grey, hot. And I will say this. We have just a little bit of grave dancing to do on this edition of the Captain's Cast, because I got to tell you, there was a post in the Discord. Join our Discord, the Swords and Starships Discord, by the way. Where is it, Mr. Producer? It was our very own Redoubt Productions who is simply too young to be disillusioned, but he was just a little bit, and he was posting, what was it? I'm looking for it, Ridout. I gotta find it. You posted something a couple of days ago. Ah, yes, there it is. I found it. Ridout saying, oh, yes, on the subject of localizers poisoning the dialogue in anime and other sorts of things, you know, he just said, I just can't help it. I grew up on some pretty good dubs. No, that wasn't the one. That wasn't it. I don't even know what, I can't find it now because you guys are you're too busy. But it was just something to do with how, like, the localizers are terrible. Oh, there it is. It'll never stop. As optimistic as I try to be and have confidence that more great storytellers are coming in the future, it's still very much a gray area as to when that next great story will arrive that captures my attention. And my reply was, we will succeed. We will triumph. We will take our stories back. We will take our culture back. We will save Western civilization. It's not impossible. It's necessary. And to wit, I believe we are witnessing that very revival, that very renaissance. It is happening. Project Hail Mary and Ryan Gosling, Project Hail Mary in general, and Ryan Gosling in particular, his specific address to fans in the theater, which you may have heard, is a great symbol of this. But additionally, the total humiliation and defeat, the Operation Epic Fury, which consumers and customers are launching on the AAA gaming studios and the streaming platforms and the film industry, is having an effect. We are voting with our wallets. It has taken years. It has taken blood, sweat, and tears, but it is having an effect, and I'm going to show you the results. We, the gamers, we, the customers, we are winning, folks. We are winning. Resuming with the chat, Michael Archangel is in the chat. Ahoy, Michael Archangel. Good to see you. Why is Michael Archangel? That's the question I have, Mr. Producer. Why? You don't have an answer? Because some things just are. Because some individuals simply transcend definition, and that is as it should be. Crowbar breaking out the whiskey. Why, here's to you, Crowbar. Here's to you. A toast. The Wrangler. I've never called you the Wrangler before, Wrangler. I don't know why I said that. Audio's good. Thank you, Wrangler. Appreciate that. Redoubt Production says, I'm here and I'm too poor to go to the cinemas. Well, you know, on the next Retracing History on the Redoubt Productions channel, I'll simply have to donate some more money to you, Redoubt. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Don't even try. Darth Merlin is in that we have a Sith Lord, a Lord of the Sith among us. Darth Merlin, yes. A Jedi apprentice far younger and more powerful. Welcome aboard, Darth Merlin. Good to see you. Fu Man Blue, the Master at Arms aboard the ship. Welcome, sir. Good to see you. Wrangler. Starfitty, the Master Gunner, is aboard. Starfitty. Across the pond, our sweet Prince Starfitty is here. It is so good to see you all. Crowbar saying the Star Man, the Star Myth, the Star Legend. He has many names, and I'll just tell you one thing before we get any further in the stream. And he said, hail, you bunch of criminals. Hail, Starfitty. I mean, this is the thing you just have to understand. If you are going to sail these waters with us, if you are going to brave these stellar winds aboard the Swords and Starships channel, you just have to be warned. You have to know. You have to be ever on your guard, because the fact is, Star Fury's out there. He's out there. Now, Michael Archangel saying Hasbro and WOTC put out a huge apology to the Gygax family. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Gygax family, and now has Luke Gygax back to bring back the OG. I didn't just accidentally say something naughty, did I? That wasn't like one of those, was it, Mr. Producer? What does being an Episcopalian have to do with that? Naivete? All right. Well, I'll just have to take the chance. All right. We'll just have to risk it. Now, we're going to talk a little bit. Gygax, says Crowbar. Okay, good. Wrangler, I have no idea what I said. And that's dangerous on the internet. That's all I'm saying. I trust this group. I disagree with Staffity. This is not a bunch of criminals. This is as trustworthy a lot on the internet as you could possibly get. There's just a little spot of tea here, and it's driving me nuts. And that's why Fu Man Blue at the last Nerdrotic meetup, Geeks and Gamers / Nerdrotic meetup, gifted me with a bib. Now, I'm not going to wear it because the rule on this channel is if I screw up the audio when I'm sharing a video, then I have to wear the bib. That's the only time. Unfortunately for Fu Man Blue, who is already bouncing with anticipation, it's not going to happen because I have gotten simply too skilled at this. I'm too good. Mr. Producer is even more passably competent than usual these days. It's you deserve it, Mr. Producer. You do. You've earned it. And D&D is dead, says Stoffhit. Have you seen the new version? It's absolutely fucking garbage. We are a pirate ship, Captain. It's a matter of opinion. We're a ship of war, is what we are. But it's not going to quit, Fu Man Blue. Don't be chanting bib in the chat. It's not going to happen. That's no way. I'm too good at this now. I'm a pro. Stone cold pro. One day shakes fist. How very emotive of you, Fu Man Blue. Unfortunately, you simply have no power in this situation. You don't have the cards. I would have to massively screw up the audio, and that's just simply never going to happen. It just isn't possible for the audio to drop out or even get interrupted in any way. I'm just too good at it. That was intentional, and that was a joke, so that doesn't count. Okay, talking about Project Hail Mary. What a magnificent film this is. Now, there is something of an internet debate going on. And the debate goes something like this. On the one hand, you have the masses. You have millions and millions and millions of satisfied, happy moviegoers saying this is one of the greatest spacefaring films of our time. This is a magnificent return to form for cinema itself. It's science fiction par excellence. This is why we come to the theater. And I just need to pause the video for just 1 second. You don't want to see me blow my nose. Come on now. Not even Michael Archangel wants to see that, okay? Join the Discord, and you'll probably understand our inside jokes. I don't know. Maybe no one will get that. Okay, anyway, so on the one hand, you have the masses which are loving this film and saying it's amazing. It's 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. And then on the other side, you have the detractors who are saying the film is good. Did my camera just beeped at me? Okay. You have those that are saying the film is good, but it's not great. It's not the best thing ever. It's okay. It's a little overrated. And the reason why it is essential that you have tuned in to the Captain's Cast tonight is you need a judge. an adjudicator, if you will, to settle this for you. So here I am. I'm here to settle it for you. The fact of the matter is, this film is sitting at a 9.5 out of 10. This is as close to a perfect score as it gets, folks. It's amazing. It has incredible heart. It's a thrill ride that just keeps escalating and escalating and escalating. Ryan Gosling is fantastic. It is a space opera, space lovers movie. It just is. Is it as good as Interstellar? No. It's like a shade. It's like half a point. If Interstellar is a 10 out of 10, Project Hail Mary is a 9.5. 9.58, maybe. Stafferi disagrees. Stafferi says it's better than Interstellar, but then... Jeez, Starfield. Oh, jeez. I didn't need that. He just said, but then I've passed... He even kind of spelled it like oive, like an English pronunciation. Oh, I've passed stools with more artistic feeling than Interstellar. That's more that was more of an Aussie accent, I think. I made you an Aussie, Starfury. How do you feel about that? That's really messed up, man. Jeez. Thanks for dropping the Discord link, Fu Man. I appreciate that. Staff here is saying we carry a letter of marque from the Queen. Which Queen? I have no idea. Victoria. We'll do Victoria. Victoria, who gifted us the Resolute desk in the White House. But we have carte blanche to take no prisoners and steal all the booty. You're damn right. I like that. Oh, I like that. So we're privateers. We're halfway between a Navy and a pirate. We're legal pirates. Oh, I like that a lot, Star Fury. I personally think we need to bring back letters of marque. I think we should issue them. The God Emperor of Man, the Orange Man, long may he reign, floated this idea early in the current administration, and I'm disappointed he didn't follow through. I think it's a spectacular idea. Prize money and everything. In any case, so let's talk about what makes Project Hail Mary so special. I mean, it starts out in kind of a generically brilliant... I mean, it's great in the beginning, but it really just starts out as a kind of like space problem-solving movie. Ryan Gosling's character, who is Dr. Grace, wakes up as the sole survivor on a ship, I guess, with 3 people. It only had 3 people on it. The other 2 astronauts on the ship have perished. He doesn't remember why he's there. He has essentially amnesia, which at first, honestly, I thought was a slightly annoying plot device. Interestingly enough, this is a movie that sort of won me over because the setup to it felt a little bit derivative and generic at first, because I'm thinking, okay, well, this is The Martian Part 2, basically, because he doesn't remember why he's there. Not that that was the point in The Martian, but the idea is he's stuck on this ship, and what's he going to do? How's he going to survive? Through flashbacks, which are laced throughout the film, we start to learn that the Earth is suffering from a serious problem. And that problem is, they call them the dots, but they're also known as the astrophage. Is that what they are? I think that's what they are. Project Hail Mary astrophage, I think is what they're called. Yes. Yeah, the astrophage, which is Latin for sun eater. Star eater, sun eater. And what they are is they are microorganisms that live in space, and they travel to the sun, and they feed on light itself. And so they eat the sun. They are literally eating the sun, and they are dimming it. And there is a trail of them that goes to Venus, and we don't know why. The trail goes to Venus and then back again. What we do know is they have infected all of our neighboring star systems around our local group of stars. And so they're quite literally killing the stars all around us. But more to the point, they're killing our star with enough speed that in a matter of something like 40 years, Earth is going to be facing serious, unsurvivable famine. In 100 years, it's going to be, the end of days. It's going to be The Road, basically. If you've ever seen that film, Cormac McCarthy's extremely bleak story about a post-apocalyptic scenario in which there's not even food left. Nothing grows on the planet anymore. In fact, I actually think, but for a few plot elements, The Road could easily be a sequel. Or not a sequel, but it could actually be the version of... It could be the alternate ending of Project Hail Mary, in which Project Hail Mary goes terribly wrong and fails. It's that bad. Like, if the sun dies, we're all plant life's going to die. Okay, you get that. So Grace, Dr. Grace, Gosling's character, is not the pilot, but he is a scientist. He's not technically skilled as an astronaut, but he's a scientist who understands the astrophage, and it's up to him to figure out a cure. It turns out that this ship has been sent to a nearby star that is immune to the astrophage, and his mission, it's a Hail Mary, is to hopefully figure out why that star is immune and send the cure, so to speak, back to Earth. And it's immediately very sort of bleak. He's alone. He buries the other astronauts in space. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. But to his surprise, he finds another alien ship, or, well, object of some kind, which is out there in the same star system. And it seems to be trying to make contact with him. And so much of the film is sort of him trying to solve the problem of how to make contact with this ship, how to, catch a communication from it, he has to learn how to spacewalk because he doesn't really know what he's doing. And all the while, he's sort of slowly but surely, his memories coming back to him of why he's on this ship. And the basic gist of it is he was a very well-educated school teacher who kind of got disgraced by his own crackpot ideas that he basically wrote a paper saying that the idea that water is necessary for life is overrated. It's not really necessary. And his theory was sort of a laughing stock, and he wound up a school teacher, and he's kind of humiliated. And that's pretty much but he was intelligent enough and educated enough, and his paper caught enough attention that they brought him in on the project to figure out what the astrophage are and how to stop them. Okay. We still don't know exactly why he's on the ship, which is important because everything they set up in the beginning, including his amnesia, is brilliantly paid off by the end. And that's all well and good. And it's fun enough to watch. And if that's all this film was, I would say, well, it's a great Golden Fleece story. Or... actually, it's really not. It's really a dude with a problem story. Or is it? Because now this is where the mild spoiler part comes in. And if it hadn't been a week or so since it came out, I wouldn't even tell you this part because I had no idea this was coming. I didn't know anything about this. I haven't read the source material. This was a total surprise to me. I kind of thought that the object he found in space was just an automated probe or something, and that it was machines trying to connect with him. Well, it connects to his ship, and it turns out there's a life form on the other ship trying to make contact with him. There is a sentient alien organism on the other ship that appears to have evolved in a non-Earth-like environment. So it's an extremophile from our perspective. But essentially, it's a life form that looks like he's mostly made of rock. He's mostly made of maybe silicon-based or something like that. The movie doesn't exactly explain it. But the basic gist of it is this organism is proof that Grace was correct, that life can evolve in non-water-based environments. It's actually like an ammonia atmosphere or something like that. But it's this creature that starts trying to communicate with him, and the first contact sequences in this film are spectacular. They are absolutely spectacular. This film is like 5 of the best Star Trek episodes ever rolled into a great film. And what makes it so amazing is every beat of it is so well established. Like the kind of terror and fear of discovering an alien life form is very real and visceral. Like, it's a big deal. This is first contact with an alien civilization. Other than the alien astrophage, there is nothing that humans have ever encountered that suggests intelligent life in the universe. So Grace is the first human to make contact with an intelligent life form. And not only that, it's an extremely alien life form. It's a kind of scary looking life form, and it's unclear whether it's potentially dangerous or hostile. And so there's this kind of like fear and uncertainty on both sides. Grace has to figure out a way to translate its language, which sounds like a kind of high-pitched, they're almost like the Tholians in Star Trek, which were crystal-based life forms. And like the Tholians, this creature communicates with kind of like essentially vibrations and like high-pitched whining sounds almost. And it's sort of endearing, but also a little bit frightening at first, and it's unclear what it wants. But pretty quickly, they start to figure things out. And every step of this contains the vastness of space, the wonder of the unknown, the incredible importance of life in the galaxy and in the universe and what it means for humanity, the discovery for the first time of a human being discovering another intelligent life form in the galaxy that looks nothing like we would have expected it to. And yet we are able to find a sort of level of communication. Here's the genius of this film. The character is dubbed Rocky. Grace dubs this life form Rocky because he can't really obviously make the same sounds that Rocky can make. So as his part of his translation of the language, he names him Rocky. Okay. If Rocky came down to Earth in a ship and introduced himself to Earth and said, take me to your leader. If we in like a fully populated ship came across them and everything was going fine, and you had a human ship with a full complement of crew and a professional scientific staff, that would be one thing. But the circumstances under which they meet are the circumstances of Grace being alone and on this desperate mission with his planet, Earth, dying if he can't save it. And it turns out Rocky is in the exact same problem. His crew also has died, and he's the last one left on his ship. He, too, is here to try and find a solution to save his own star from dying. And they are both completely alone, cut off from their species, in the most desperate circumstance a living being can be in, which is to be totally alone and adrift with no way home. That creates a unique bedrock for their relationship, meaning if Rocky just came to Earth and said, take me to your leader, the conversation, the experience of discovering life in the universe would be so vastly different. And who even knows if friendly terms could be established? Who even knows what that circumstance would be? But the situation in which two marooned souls, desperate for some kind of connection and help, just happen to find each other and are the only two beings for light years in every direction who can possibly help each other, who can possibly save each other's lives, forms this unique bond. And it turns out that Project Hail Mary is, in the Blake Snyder Save the Cat 10 movie genres, it is a classic buddy love story. It's a buddy love story, and it's one of the most brilliant I've ever seen. I'm pulling up the rubric for this real quick. We're going to share screen, Mr. Producer. So, in the Blake Snyder Save the Cat storytelling method, okay, one of the 10 genres is buddy love. These are those you complete me stories. A spiritually incomplete hero finds a companion who somehow makes them whole. Due to a complication, in this case, the fact that they're both alone and on a desperate mission to save their planets far from their homeworlds, the two struggle to be together in the way they're meant to be. Buddy love movies are your love stories, friendship stories, mother-daughter stories, boy and their dog stories. The three elements of a buddy love story are an incomplete hero who is missing something, physical, ethical, or spiritual. He needs another to be whole. A counterpart. So the incomplete hero, obviously here, is Ryan Gosling's character of Dr. Grace, who clearly in his past, he considers himself a failure. He considers himself the last resort to even be on this mission. He doesn't believe in himself at all. In fact, he kind of thinks of himself as somewhat worthless, honestly, and he's just doing the best he can, and he doesn't know if he's going to succeed. So that's what makes him sort of incomplete. He doesn't believe in himself, and he doesn't believe in his own worth. Here comes number 2, a counterpart who makes that completion come about or has qualities the hero needs. In this case, Rocky, in addition to having skills that Grace doesn't have, and Grace having knowledge Rocky doesn't have, Rocky needs another being in the universe to connect to, just as Grace does, in order to save his planet. 3, a complication, be it a misunderstanding, a personal or ethical viewpoint, epic historical event, or the prudish disapproval of society. In this case, the fact that if their mission is to succeed, they have to work together. Two beings that didn't even know that there was intelligent life in the galaxy until they met, have to figure out a way to communicate and survive. And one of the great elements of this relationship is that they can't survive in each other's atmosphere. Basically, Rocky lives in a super hot ammonia-based atmosphere, almost kind of like Venus, something like that, where it would set a human on fire to they'd be in an oven, right? But Rocky could never survive in our nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere. It would be like being exposed to liquid nitrogen or something. In any case, this is the story of these two characters finding each other in this terrible situation and having to work together. I'm going to just tell you, it is wonderful and magnificent to watch. I loved every minute of it, and all I will tell you is the payoffs. The payoffs in this story are excellent. The action sequences are tense and nail-biting. The visuals, the spectacular interstellar visuals that you get in this film are worth seeing the theater. The musical score is beautiful. And there are several actually emotional payoffs in this movie that will just hit you right to the core. But I'll just tell you, there was one scene in this film that was difficult even to watch because it was, I don't know how to say this without giving anything away, but all I will say is there are challenges in this film that require the characters to make pretty serious sacrifices on each other's behalf. And there was just one event in this movie that it just was so powerful and so just gut-wrenching. It just tore my heart out completely. And I just lost it. I just got super emotional. It was, what's amazing? You know how they have these trigger warnings on shows and movies now? They're like, warning, if things like X, Y, and Z trigger you, just be careful watching this. I guess that under that framework, it triggered me. It just completely triggered me. But the funny thing about what's so dumb about that is that, well, of course, because that's why I go to the movie. I go to the movie to feel something. I go to the movie so it punches me in the chest. I want a movie to grab me and just shake me out of apathy. Make me feel alive. Feel like a human being with passion and adventure. Sorrow and sacrifice, heroism and courage, great deeds that must be done. That's why I go to see a movie, so you're goddamn right. I don't need a trigger warning. I don't want a trigger warning. If it's going to trigger me, then by God, let it trigger me so I'll know what I'm made of. I if you think that you should avoid something that triggers you, you have forgotten the purpose of art and life itself. And so, in any case, if such a thing as a trigger warning were needed, it would have been for that scene in the film. But in any case, that is to say, it was incredibly powerful, incredibly moving. I loved it so much. I'm going to see it again. It's 9.5 out of 10 for Project Hail Mary. It's thus far, it's the best film of the year so far. Absolutely fantastic. Everything about it, I just love it. I love it, the ending. I love the thematic elements of faith. It's no coincidence that the main character's name is Grace, and the title of the film and the title of the project in the film is Project Hail Mary. There's a conversation in the film between the leader of the Project Hail Mary initiative, she is a female scientist who is in charge of rallying all these great minds from around the world. She's kind of like the Oppenheimer getting together the Manhattan Project to solve this problem of the astrophage. And she's your classic egghead scientist character. She seems very cold. She's very what was the name of the character, Mr. Producer? She's your classic aloof, cold scientist who is just very rational. She's very science-based in every way. Eva Strott, that's her name. Eva Strott, Dr. Strott. She has a very... You would think that she's just the voice of logic. Well, there's a great scene in the film in which Dr. Grace asks her, he's talking to her about the universe and life in the universe. And she says, God willing, or she says something along those lines. She says something like, God willing, our mission will succeed. And he says, you believe in God? And her reply is, yes. It's better than the alternative. And it was quite striking. It was quite striking to see this typically aloof, distant, calculating, logical scientist be the voice of faith in the film. And it set really the tone of the whole film. The whole film is based on the concept that really the odds are completely against humanity to solve this problem. It's that everyone understands that there's basically very little chance that this mission will succeed. It is a long shot. That's why it's called Project Hail Mary in the film. And yet, the reason to try is because humanity is worth saving. Humanity has value and beauty in the universe and is worth saving. And if all else fails, the one thing we can turn to is faith. Faith in ourselves, faith in something greater than ourselves, faith that we can prevail no matter the odds. And the truly remarkable thing that drives this home is the character of Rocky. Because Rocky is in the exact same boat. From his perspective, he's alone in the universe. He doesn't know if there's any other life forms out there. And he, too, has to rely on faith. And he suffers loss and he suffers tragedy just like Grace has. He needs Grace as much as Grace needs Rocky. It's just so beautiful. But the thing that really stole my heart about this movie is Rocky is this spider-like rock character that doesn't have a face, doesn't have eyes, whose language is essentially a bunch of high-pitched squeaking sounds. But once we learn to understand what those sounds mean and perceive him as a being, we suddenly see that he's something precious. He's something valuable. Everyone is saying that Rocky steals the show. Well, I'm going to tell you why Rocky steals the show. The reason Rocky steals the show is because he's a mirror. Rocky is a reflection to Grace, to the audience, to us as humans. He's a reflection of why life is sacred. Rocky is a clump of rocks. But the moment that we see that there's a soul, that there's a being within that strange form, the moment that we see that, we know that there's something precious in the universe that must be preserved. By the end of this film, we are as much rooting for Rocky's species to live as our own. We are as much rooting for Rocky to survive as Grace. And you could say, oh, well, it's just a movie. It's a fictional CGI character. Don't handwave this. Listen to me. When you're in a movie, when you're watching a film or reading a book, these characters are real. They've done neurological studies that prove it. We have an emotional connection. These beings live, if only for a brief time in fiction. They live. They're real. And they say something about the human heart, the way we respond to them. And the fact that Rocky becomes this precious being by its own very nature reflects back our own value. Rocky's desperation to help Grace, to take care of Grace, to look after his well-being, to save him, to save his life, maybe at the cost of his own. That Rocky is willing to do that for this strange, odd-looking organism that he didn't even know existed is a reflection of the value of humanity. And our converse need to do the same for him is a reflection of why his species has value in the universe and why our species has value in the universe. And the union of these two species is what ultimately saves both. I don't believe that's a fictional story. I don't believe that's fiction. I believe that's our future. Seriously. One day we are going to have to speak to another alien civilization somewhere in the universe. Now, I don't know when. It might be our descendants 1,000 years from now. For all we know, it could be this century. One never knows. But they're out there, like Star Fury. They're out there. And the beginning of that relationship will define, it will tell us more about our existence than we could have ever imagined. And this film has something powerful, meaningful, primal, and spiritual to say about that future. This is the most anthropic film I've seen in a long time. This is a film that celebrates humanity, that loves humanity, and that argues the case that we have a place in the universe that is precious. Just as the Iridians, which is Rocky's species, I think that's what he calls them, the Iridians. What is Rocky's species called? Yeah, that's right. The Iridians. I thought so. Iridians, yeah. Just as the Iridians have an important pride of place in the universe, so do we. And so it is a beautiful film. I absolutely loved Project Hail Mary. I'm going to go see it again. It's just an experience. It's just an absolute experience. It is one of the most pro-humanity, pro-civilization, pro-optimism, pro-futurism films I've seen in a long time. It just blew the doors off. It's spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. It lives up to the hype 100%. If someone is telling you it's the best film ever and they're twisting your arm, believe them. Believe them. All right, now I've neglected you, chat. I have neglected you. Star Fury with £2 sterling. Star Fury with a £2 sterling super chat. Why, thank you, Star Fury. Thank you so much. Says, glad you are back. Well, it's my honor to be back and to serve you, my beloved audience. So thank you, Star Fury. It's good to be back. And I can't promise it we're going to be here every single week, but I'm going to try and get back to the weekly. I'm going to try and get back to the weekly. I just, I needed to get some momentum going in Galaxy Born, which is, if you want to know why the streams have taken a bit of a breather, Mr. Producer, if you would. If you go to www.galaxyborn.com, that's www.galaxyborn.com. That's how the commercials would say it in the late 90s, early 2000s, when the internet was just getting started. They'd be, you'd have a show advertising their TV on TV. They'd be advertising their web address, and they'd say www.galaxyborn.com. Go there now. That's where you need to go, because that's where you'll find the landing page for what I have been working on. Now, it's not out yet. This is an upcoming space opera novel series, and I'm working on it as we speak. I'd say I'm about 35-40% done with the Volume 1 first draft, and I've got about 10% of the second draft going. And this is going to be a starfaring novel series, and here is the logline. After a blood-soaked year of killing slaver cartels, all Captain Sadler and his starship crew want is a little rest at home. Instead, a warlord of the Rokoi race launches a surprise attack with a big enough army to slaughter every man, woman, and child on their planet. So if you want to get on the mailing list so that you don't miss when the pre-order campaign launches, put in your email, hit sign up, and you'll be on my mailing list. So yes, that is what we're working on. That's my villain. That's our starship there, the UCS Independence. That is a Declaration class star frigate. This is Commander May Bayala, his first officer, and she is a blue space babe. I think that it may have been Michael Archangel. I forget which of you asked me this. Someone asked me, why are hot alien babes always blue or sometimes green? Because it's hot. That's why. Because it's hot. That's the answer to that question. And then this is our captain, Captain Cole Sadler, a former Templar Special Forces operative turned Navy captain. So the Templars in this future are part of the Star Navy's Special Forces ground forces. So they are essentially the equivalent of Navy SEALs, as Navy SEALs are to the current U.S. Navy. So Templars are to the Star Navy, and this is our captain. And we have bad guys to fight in Galaxy Born. So anyway, getting enough momentum on something like this can really take a toll. And the fact of the matter is, I had to make a choice to focus on one thing, the one thing that was the most critical for what I'm trying to build with Swords and Starships. And at the end of the day, my first duty, if you will, as a captain, my first role, my first and highest calling as a professional is the craft of storytelling. That is my highest calling. And so this is the highest priority. And at the end of the day, I started this channel as a branch of what I'm doing with my writing. So, and as you can see, I have Blood and Oak there. That's Wolves Will Eat, the second one. And then over here, that would be the first Blood and Oak novel. Now, those are historical Navy, nautical, swords and sails adventures. Check them out. Go to www.bloodandoak.com. That's www.bloodandoak.com. Go now. And you can check those out. There's a great, fantastic audiobook narrated by author and narrator Travis Baldry of the first one. It's not a mirror image. So like when I point, I'm looking at, it's not a mirror image. So I gotta figure out what. Check them out. But Galaxy Born is going to be, it's not Star Trek. It's not Star Wars. It's its own thing. It's not Mass Effect. but it borrows spiritual and thematic elements of those things that I hold dear, which is adventure, grounded storytelling, optimism, and futurism. This is the story of a future you will want to be a part of. I promise you that, my dear viewer. Michael Archangel, time to pimp the Captain's books. You're damn right. Fu Man Blue's pimping them. Follow Captain Garrett's Starfaring novel series at Galaxyborn at www.galaxyborn.com and Swashbuckling Sword and Sales Epic Blood and Oak on Amazon. Link is in the chat. Michael Archangel, hail Captain on that comment. I'm lagging here, Michael Archangel, so I don't know which one. To which you refer. Staffyade says, when are we going to do an Interstellar watch-along? I so want to roast that movie with you guys. You know what? That is a great point. I have had a dearth of member content on the channel. In fact, that reminds me. Let me see if I can. Oh, yes. Oh, here it is. What am I doing? I can just go over here, and I can gift a few memberships. Can't I? I can, Mr. Producer. Where is it? Where are my memberships? Yes. There we go. I'm going to gift some memberships. This is so you can join the senior staff at the Swords and Starships channel. More, Mr. Producer, more. Oh, now it's going to cost me money. No, maybe I will soon. We'll see. Now I can't get rid of this. How do I get rid of that? Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. All right, send out some gifted memberships. So if you are a member of the channel, you can join our watch-alongs, which are called On Screen with the Captain. What was the last one we did? We did K-Pop Demon Hunters, and we did Godzilla -1, which that was fantastic. Both of those were fantastic, but Godzilla -1, that was great. I loved watching that with you guys, because that movie it's so phenomenal, and it's Godzilla -1 is basically an 11 out of 10 film. So it still beats Project Hail Mary for me, but I will tell you, Project Hail Mary is in the orbit. It's in that stratosphere where Godzilla -1 sits, because the level of pathos and just magnificence and beauty. I will say Koichi Shikishima is still a more endearing protagonist than even Dr. Grace is in Project Hail Mary, but, you know, splitting hairs. We're splitting hairs at that point. What else is in the chat? Let's see here. So much to get through. Starfury says, lots of scientists of the past were Christian. They believe they are investigating the works of God. And I will say this, Starfury. I have come to agree with that assessment. I think that is right. And referring, of course, to in Project Hail Mary, how Dr. Strott, who is the absolute model of your typical aloof, fact-based, logic-based scientist who's even a little ruthless in how she pursues the goal of the Project Hail Mary. But underneath that, there is this wonderful humanity that you discover over the course of the film. And she is the one that says, of course she believes in God, because it's better than the alternative. And so, yes, I think that is the proper seed of science. And it's interesting, too, because I've been rewatching a lot of Star Trek lately. And I've always loved Star Trek, the classic series, that is. Kurtzman Trek is not Star Trek. And one of the things that occurred to me is how the kind of constant atheism of most of the characters in Star Trek, I do find it to be dated now. You know, I find it to be a naive presentation of a future utopia, a utopia in which these characters, you know, Captain Picard, Kirk, Sisko, they all are acting on a kind of faith. They all believe in a faith. They have these principles. They have these certainties about the rights of a sentient being, about what's correct and right in the universe. Other species, rival species, constantly describe the Federation as being somewhat arrogant in how it insists upon its principles and even sort of presumes to dictate the rest of the galaxy these things. Even though they have the Prime Directive and they have a non-interference protocol, they still tend to preach the good word to all of the other species. And it tends to, at sometimes it's endearing and other times it's annoying to other species in the galaxy. And that is because they are, the Federation's principles are really articles of faith. And yet these characters are sort of faithless. They all sort of believe in a higher power without ever saying that they do. They believe in humanity. They believe in goodness in the universe. They believe that all species can be united. They have these beliefs. Well, all of these beliefs are sort of pointing to the same thing, which is that there is a higher order to the universe. And the interesting thing, too, is the Starfleet captains are often very fond of and admiring of religious cultures. So, for example, Janeway is very admiring of Chakotay's Native American beliefs about animal guides and the spirit of his ancestors bringing him wisdom. Captain Sisko comes to embrace the prophets, and he comes to respect and appreciate Major Kira's faith in the prophets. You have, I can't think of a specific example at the moment, but I know that there's episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation in which Worf's faith as a Klingon is often respected, sometimes questioned and argued with, but often respected by Captain Picard and others on the ship. So you have these characters that are sort of godless, and yet they are operating on faith. They admire faith. They respect faith and protect it at all costs. They just claim to have none. And I find that suspiciously lacking and sort of dated in modern storytelling. I think there's something about that that's amiss in retrospect. Starfury is saying Rocky is a better actor than all the people on Starfleet Star Trek Academy put together. I mean, seriously, like that character is pure magic. And, the interesting thing, too, is it got me thinking about Grogu, of all characters. Rocky got me thinking about Grogu and what went right with Grogu in the beginning and what went wrong. That would be Baby Yoda to the layman. What went right with Baby Yoda in the beginning and what went wrong with him. What went right with Baby Yoda in the beginning was that he was a unique... He was connected to Yoda in the fact that he was of the same species. And we had never really known much about Yoda's species. And there was something powerful and emotional, really in a compelling way about that. Because through Grogu, we were learning something about the life cycle of Yoda's species, about their spiritual connection to the Force. There was a lot of real excellent storytelling potential there. A lot. The humanizing effect that Grogu had on the otherwise surly and sort of vapid and kind of violent, rough living Mandalorian, Din Djarin, was that he sort of became the heart and soul of the Din Djarin character. He became a reason beyond simply money and wandering the galaxy for Din Djarin to fight on and do something meaningful in the universe. All of that was great. All of that was to the good. What went wrong with the Grogu character is that his only defining principle as a character became cuteness. And what's interesting about Rocky in Project Hail Mary is he's very cute. He's a really cute, lovable character. But at no point in this film does Rocky stop becoming a complex, living being. And that's where Grogu and Rocky as cute sidekick alien characters diverge. Because where Rocky continues being a fully realized being who has a mate that he misses from back home, who has fears and doubts about himself that he must overcome just like Grace must, and even faces the prospect of his own death in order to succeed, and discovers just the absolute preciousness of friendship. There's such a great scene in this movie in which Rocky is simply asking to define a term. He's like, what is friend? You know, it's, oh my God, it's going to get me right now. It gets me right in the feels. Rocky never stops being that soul-bearing, complex being that he needs to be more than just a cute sidekick, but a character that is important and central to the story, who reflects the sacredness of humanity through the sacredness of his own species. Grogu, by contrast, simply becomes cute baby noises forever and ever and ever. And that's such a loss to storytelling because there was so much potential there. Michael Archangel says, I agree, though I didn't realize Stallone would come back to play his fantastic part. Very droll, Michael Archangel, as usual. Fu Man Blue says, I don't know about Rocky's people, but I'm pretty sure the universe would be better off without us. Now, Fu Man Blue, that's precisely the kind of I don't want to say misanthropic, but that is precisely the kind of cynical thinking, feeling, let's say, that this film, in my view, is pushing back against. This is exactly the, and I don't blame you for having that perspective. Trust me. In fact, there is an amazing video from John C. Reilly that I've got to find this. Mr. Producer. Do I have it still? Hang on. It's going to take me a second to pull it up. But, this film is arguing for the beauty and worthiness of humanity through the eyes of Rocky and through our eyes looking at Rocky. Because if we can learn the value of that life form, I'm sure Rocky's species has plenty of assholes in it. That's the whole point of the film. There's plenty of jerks that are Iridians. There's plenty of mistakes Rocky's species must have made. I'm sure there's stupid, awful wars that they've had in their past, just like we have. But the point is, it doesn't change the fact that there's something worth saving in them, and it's by virtue of that, there's something worth saving in us. And even just the friendship between Rocky and Grace is what's arguing for that in this film. It's just so magnificent. And more importantly, it's true. What do I always say? What do I always say that great art contains? It contains truth. Truth, beauty, pathos. I'm seeing if I can find it. I think I got it here. I don't know if I can play it because it's a TikTok video. That's a problem with TikTok. The only thing that can play TikTok is TikTok. All right, let me see. Okay, copy that, Mr. Producer. Let's see if I can share this. I don't know if I can. I'm going to see if I can. But it's so good. This is so good. It's John C. Reilly on a podcast talking about art. Okay, I think I got it. Now, how do I restart the video, Mr. Producer? I'm like a boomer when it comes to TikTok. But okay, here we go. I think I got it. Okay. I want to play this, and this is specifically to your point, Fu Man. And this film is the perfect film to be talking about for this clip. Enable audio. Roll tape. Play.
Is comedy. I don't think.
He said, I don't think cruelty is comedy.
There's a trend right now with misanthropy. There's a trend that I don't like in movies where people, and the reason I don't like it is not because I think everything's fine and everything's wonderful. I definitely have my misanthropic days where I'm like, oh, humanity, fuck you. But that's not my core belief, And I actually think to be misanthropic is like people who are very, very overly sensitive are misanthropic. because they look at the world and they're like, everything is not peaches and cream. Well, everything sucks. And that, to me, it's like.
By the way, did I just blow out the microphone? I hope I didn't. Okay, hang on. I got to just check my audio here for a second. I just got to make sure that the sound balance is good. Truth, beauty. Oh, that is just sounding great. I don't know if I can. Audio. Roll tape. Play.
Is comedy. I don't think.
Okay, I think that's probably a good sound balance. Okay, cool. All right. Back to it, Mr. Producer. But, to his point, this is exactly what's wrong with Kurtzman-Trek, by the way. This is exactly the cynicism of Kurtzman-Trek is unless the future winds up as the perfect representation of 2026 LA woke values, humanity is a fail. And that's essentially why Kurtzman-Trek is so insufferable, because it's not even LA. It's Hollywood's moral compass. Kurtzman-Trek is basically Hollywood's idea of morality. These are the most depraved people in our society, the most out of touch, the most aloof, the most disconnected from their own humanity, the most narcissistic and greedy of all humanity are actors and artists. And, don't worry. I'm just as susceptible to those sins as any other. And they are creating their version of utopia. And it's kind of in Kurtzman-Trek, it's the implication that we suck that is so insufferable. Because, in original Star Trek stories, like, for example, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, Kirk goes back to our time. Of course, at that time, it was the 80s. He goes back to our time, and he experiences humanity in its less enlightened and more barbaric state. But he doesn't speak of humans of the time with a note of condemnation. Yes, he acknowledges that, it's simply the way people speak here. If you're not swearing every other word, nobody understands you. It was a different time. And he understands that, Captain Kirk. And he doesn't hold it against us. And he does seem a little bit he's a fish out of water in 1980s San Francisco. But there's a sense that humanity is not something detestable, even in Kirk's eyes, being a more enlightened being from a better time. So in any case, that's part of what's insufferable about Kurtzman-Trek. It's really what's insufferable about the Avatar films. This is perfectly the problem with the Avatar films. The Avatar films are about how humanity is trash. Humanity is mostly stupid, greedy, awful beings that are just going to pillage to death another species. And that's it. And that is the problem with the Avatar films. Roll tape.
An immature idea. It's an immature stance to take.
Hello, James Cameron.
A 15-year-old is like, everything's bullshit. Everyone's stupid. The fucking world is ending, so fuck it. It's just so immature to me. And I don't want to call out specific filmmakers,
James Cameron,
or writer, director kind of people, but it is a trend right now to be cynical in that way. And, I watch one of those kind of stories and I think okay, what are you saying to me with this story? Are you saying to me everyone's an idiot because there are no likable characters in this movie? Mm-hmm. There are no redeeming qualities for anyone in this movie. The world is on a trajectory where it's fucked, right? I'm sorry for all my swearing today, by the way. So what are you saying to me? Are you saying to me the world's fucked, get used to it? I already knew that before I came in here. I read the news every day. Yeah. So what are you adding to my life by telling me that everything's fucked and that everyone's stupid, or that human beings are not noble and that human beings at their heart of hearts are not good? What am I supposed to take from that? Yeah. What's additive in my life about that? Why do I need that? I don't need it. If we were living in a bucolic age where everything was fine, then maybe, yeah, a little bit of acid would be good, right? A little bit of corrosive thinking might be good to leaven things. But we're in the shit right now. And I personally think that art should be additive to people's lives. Not to say that it should.
And Fuman, you may have been being sarcastic, so which I realize maybe I think Starfire said you're busting out, which is fine, totally fine. Either way, I appreciate the point because this is exactly why I wanted to bring this up. I am so on board with John C. Reilly, and it's extremely germane to my own work because I was thinking, I don't think I've ever put it in words like this before. I don't think I've ever intellectually stated it quite like this before. But 100%, this is my philosophy as an artist myself. This is my philosophy as a storyteller. This is, I wrote the novels Blood and Oak, and there's a lot of darkness in them. There's a lot of moments. There's a lot of really low lows in Blood and Oak. There's a lot of just tough things that the characters go through, but there's always a ray of hope. There's always something beautiful underneath all that's worth fighting for, and the ending is meant to be something uplifting and inspiring, and to remind us that we're tougher than we think we are, that there's good in the world and it can prevail, it will prevail. So I'm just so, and Galaxy Born is 100% in the same vein. It should be additive. It should enrich the life of the reader. And this is exactly the problem. Take Ironheart as just a great example, or The Acolyte, right? Those are two great examples of pure cynicism, pure disgusting, depraved cynicism. The only virtue to be found in those stories is selfishness. The only commentary it has to say on humanity is, well, at least I'm not the worst of the worst. It just, everyone is sort of equally awful in those stories. That if Leslie Headland's thematic, if her philosophy of the Star Wars universe could be put into words, I think it would be that evil is just a point of view. I think that's exactly what her attitude was in The Acolyte. Goodness and the light and the dark side are just dependent on where you're standing. There's nothing inherently evil about the Sith, and there's nothing inherently good about the Jedi. In fact, it may be that they're both pretty much just shitheads that are trying to establish a monopoly on something that should belong to everyone, such as lesbian space witches. So really, the as absurd as it is, the lesbian space witch coven is actually sort of the less significant point of what's so wrong with The Acolyte. What's wrong with The Acolyte is this exact concept. It's not adding anything enriching to the viewer's experience. George Lucas, on the other hand, with his story of the Jedi and balance in the Force and the redemption of Vader by his son, all of that is so crucial to telling a fable which is additive to John C. Reilly's point.
Should all be Pollyanna-ish, that they should all be happy endings. But I do think there should be redeeming qualities, because that is the truth about life to me, that life is not all bad.
Bingo! 100%. I could not have said it better. So brilliantly put. Such a beautiful point. Coming from John C. Reilly. That wasn't on my bingo card, but holy shit, what a statement. The truth is that life isn't all bad. We aren't fucked. Humanity is something beautiful. And yes, it has some of the most dark and awful aspects to it. But even if it's just by a nose, I think it's by more than a nose, but even if it's just by a nose, the good outweighs the darkness. And he's so right about that. And I love his little analogy of it's like James Cameron's philosophy, just to point out an example, in the Avatar films is the perfect example of what he's talking about with this kind of 15-year-old's idea of morality. Oh, everything sucks. Humans just suck. Oh, fuck the world. That's a 15-year-old's idea of what life is all about. Hey, nothing against 15-year-olds. They're learning. But the point is, a film like Project Hail Mary, a film like Godzilla -1, a film like Interstellar, these are films that are telling the truth, which is that life isn't all sunshine and bunnies. Humans aren't guaranteed survival. We aren't guaranteed that we will prevail. And yes, if we want to survive, if we want to thrive in this universe, we may have to fight for it. We may have to answer for the things we've done. We may have to stand up and go through hell. But it's worth it. And we have something within us, something that can't be quantified, it can't be measured, it can't be contained or controlled, there's no tyranny in the world powerful enough to destroy it. It's the human soul. It's irrepressible. It's unstoppable. It might slumber for a time, but it will always awaken. It's our birthright. It's our destiny. It's the very thing that drives us to something greater. It's why we explore the stars. It's why we discovered new continents. It's why we invented wonders. And it's why sometimes the only thing we need in life is to be home with a loved one. The only thing that we need to nourish our soul is a little time with a friend. It's the beauty and sacredness of what it is to be human. What it is to be alive in this universe. There's truth in that. That's the truth. And it's a thing worth saving. It's a thing worth fighting for. No matter how dark anything else ever gets.
Life is not all good either. But when you're at a funeral, someone always cracks a joke, right? When you're at a birthday party, you notice something sad about a kid, right? That's life. That's the truth about life. It's balanced, or it has contradictions, or it has surprises. Surprises. That's what I want in a movie. And if you say to me, the whole world is fucked and people are stupid, well, that's not surprising. Sorry. There's many people saying that, you know?
Last one.
I don't even know what the question was, but I really needed to get that off my chest.
No,
clearly.
It's fair. I remember when I was writing my book, I can't justify charging people for cynicism. Like, if they're paying money, I shouldn't make their life worse.
It's a lazy posture, cynicism.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. It's a defeated posture. Anybody can be defeated. If you defeat yourself by saying that, anybody can do it. Mm-hmm. It takes someone a little more clever to show the complexity of life. I don't think...
So unbelievably on point. What an absolutely just perfect description of what art is really meant to be. Captain Salute, John C. Reilly. Just excellent. And Project Hail Mary is the film to demonstrate John C. Reilly's point, because it is a film that is absolutely adding something positive to your life by experiencing it. It is a film. It's amazing. Here I am thinking it's a film about a pre-apocalyptic save humanity dude with a problem kind of story. Can he survive? Can he pull off the mission? And it turns out to be a film about friendship and the human heart. Holy shit. That is a piece of writing right there. That's all I got to say. I mean, just unbelievably good. How's the book going? Asked Stafferi a little while ago, and we addressed that, so yes. It's hilarious, says Wrangler in the lore, that Rocky's ancestors originated from a planet called Adrian in the Tau Ceti system. Yo, Adrian. Well, that's kind of what Grace names it, because obviously, yeah, exactly. Blue babes are in. They are Wrangler. I agree with you. So are green babes, too. I'm not going to neglect them in the Galaxy Born universe. You just wait. Stop Fury says, Andy Weir, author of Project Hail Mary, is clearly a funny guy. The Rocky in-jokes. Rocky is brilliant. Rocky is a brilliant, brilliant character. And Grace is, Rocky kind of steals the show in the way that, it's probably not a perfect analogy, but the way that the Joker kind of steals the show from Batman. It's not that Batman's not interesting or compelling. It's that the reason the Joker is so interesting is because he's a mirror to Batman. And that's really what Rocky is in this film. He's a mirror to Grace. Grace is us. That's really what it is. Grace is us, and Rocky is the thing that is exotic and new. And we are that for Rocky. And it's just, the film the language of this film is so perfect. And I've heard Gary at Nerdrotic was saying that like a lot of the science in the book was left out, and I haven't read the book, so I wouldn't know. And I can see where that may be the case, because there's a lot of like scientific explanation in the film, but there are times where I'm kind of wondering about something. Well, how would that work? And they don't really explain it. I don't think the film suffers a drop in quality for that. I think it has kind of the right amount. There's enough known about how things work that you can kind of just go with it. You don't necessarily, I feel like it's a nice to have to know kind of the more of the details. And I feel like if you want to know those details, really, you should read the book, and I probably will, because I actually do want to read the book to learn more about Rocky's species, the Iridians. But the film itself is excellent. It's excellent. There's almost nothing I would change about the film. Could Sully survive in the Galaxy-Born universe? Asks Wrangler. Sully would kick ass in the Galaxy-Born universe. Sully would love the Galaxy-Born universe. Sully is in the Galaxy-Born universe. Sully's in the Galaxy-Born universe. He's in the history of the Galaxy-Born universe. He lived in the 1800s, so he doesn't live in Sadler's time, which is the 24th century, but he's an ancestor of people who do live in the 24th century. So Sully's already part of the Galaxy-Born universe. He's part of why the Galaxy-Born universe survived. Past, present, future, they breathe as one. I think who all got gifted memberships? Staffity got one. Fu Man Blue got one. Yes, awesome. That's exactly. I definitely want my mods, my senior staff. You guys deserve it. I hope did Crowbar get one? I really hope Crowbar got one. I don't think he got one. Dang it. Sorry, Crowbar. I can't control it. I'd give you one directly if I could. And Michael Archangel. No, Michael Archangel has to pay for it. Michael Archangel's the only. He has to pay. Did he get one? Okay, good. No, he didn't. I'm just messing with you, Michael. Let's see what else we got. The Lurkers just got exposed. Oh yeah, they did. Redoubt Productions. Michael Archangel says, WTF, I got a rock. I'm sorry. You're making me sad, Michael. He says, I got nothing. He's like the sad kid at the birthday party. I can't wait for Godzilla -0, says Starfury. Oh, man. Bruv, as you would say across the pond. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Godzilla -0. I'm so excited. My only hope is that it can match the sheer achievement that -1 is. I will not hold it against Takashi Yamazaki if he can't quite achieve that height. I won't hold it against him. I fully expect it'll be minimum 8 out of 10 film. That's me being conservative. I think we're looking at 9 out of 10 at least for Godzilla -0, which will be below -1. That's to be expected, because -1 is lightning in a bottle. It's one of my top 10 films of all time. It's just one of the best things I've ever seen, and I don't expect, it's not like Back to the Future 2 is going to top Back to the Future 1. It just is what it is. I'm not holding that against him. But that doesn't mean I'm not hoping. I'm hoping, what if it's better? What if it's better? Oh, that's a great thought. That's an exciting thought. Stop, Wrangler. How about Godzilla divided by zero? Enough, Wrangler. Enough. Let's see. What else we got? I'm going through all the chat. I don't want to miss anything. It's been brought to my attention. I don't read the chat enough. How I feel doesn't change what I say, says Fu Man Blue. It has to smack of assholiness. What was he referring to? I don't know. Star Fury says, Rocky's people are dumb as rocks. They didn't figure out relativistic travel, for fuck's sake. The fact I can't understand it either tells you everything you need to know. I actually, that wasn't my understanding. My understanding is they didn't figure out radiation. But in the plot, they didn't understand radiation. It's kind of a single line of dialogue. It went by pretty fast. And I was like, that's one of the technical things in the film. I'm like, what? There's no chance a species capable of inventing an interstellar ship does not understand radiation. That doesn't make any sense to me. So either I'm missing some context, or that's one of the rare moments in the movie where the plot device is a little hand wavy. It's a flaw, but I'm curious if the book adds context that makes that make sense. I'm not sure. Did I just see someone say love, love, love? Michael Archangel said that. He's lovely. Directed at Fu Man Blue. No homo. Okay. Let's see. No one who hasn't worked another job should ever be allowed to write shit that ends up as entertainment, says Star Fury. I pretty much agree with you. I think you need to have lived some life. All right. I think I'm almost caught up on the chat. Crowbar says, you don't want me to be a mod. I would abuse my power. Should we make Crowbar a mod? We should do that. I'll think about it. Crowbar would abuse his power. As if Fu Man Blue and Star Fury don't. Star Fury says, if your series goes on long enough, you could do a crossover with your Blood and Oak characters. Not a direct time travel episode. More a mystery left by John Sullivan that the new team stumble across. I love that idea. That's a great idea, Star Fury. Because I do think about that. I mean, in the canon, the unstated canon, Sadler's ship is named after a series of ships, which goes all the way back to Sullivan's ship. So there is like a connection there. My thought that there may be ways for my characters to seem to interact with historical figures without time travel. So we'll think about it. Look, I got to tell you, the thought of a time travel plot, I can understand why there's so many in Star Trek, because they are fun and they're fun to write because you can just do anything. But it's like the multiverse, you know. Once you open that door, the rabbit hole just keeps going deeper, and then you got time paradoxes, and then you got multiple timelines. I don't want to open the door to like direct time travel or multiverses. Those are like the two things, you know. And to the credit of Mass Effect, one of the brilliant things about Mass Effect, it never messes with time travel. It never messes with it's just so, but it's so sharp that just the lore is so sharp in Mass Effect. Probably the best constructed lore of any fictional universe ever, for me, is Mass Effect. Just to the last rivet, just perfectly architected. It's a masterclass. Now, whether or not it's the funnest universe or the best universe, that's a different question. But Mass Effect absolutely has some of the best constructed lore of any fictional universe I've ever seen. It's just, I read that whole codex in the games for hours. Hours. I'm just sitting on the codex menu, just reading through every codex entry. Hours. I probably have more hours reading the codex than actually playing the games. Fu Man says you do have to be mean to be a mod. Well, that's true. A little meanness is necessary. Crowbar says, nah, I'd be banning people right and left. It would just be me and the captain. Okay. Well, okay, fine. You made your case, Crowbar. Crowbar just goes on a banning spree. He's basically the mod equivalent of like Patrick Bateman. He's just, his name is Crowbar the Skull. And that may give you some clue as to how he would govern as a mod. Wrangler says, gotta run. Have a great night, everybody. God bless. God bless, Wrangler. Thanks for the super chat once again, sir. Star Fury says, I hate time travel plots. I prefer things like a scroll left locked up for centuries with clues to an amazing mystery. That's an excellent point, Star Fury. I hear that. That's a really good observation. And I'm pretty much on board with that. Okay, what else is in the stack of stuff? I got lots of great stuff. I probably have way more stuff than we're going to go over because it's enormous. I can't even believe this, but it's been about a month since our last Captain's Cast, which kind of shocked me because I was setting up the stream and I looked back and I was like, wait, it's been 4 weeks since we had a Captain's Cast. That's way too long. But I'll tell you something. You know what got me out here is Project Hail Mary. That's what got me. I was like, I got to talk about this. I have got to talk about this movie. It's so fantastic. I want to pull up a video from Moist Critical on Hail Mary because there's a couple of things I want to talk about on this. Let me grab this. I don't know exactly what he's going to say, but the basic question he's asking in this video is, does Project Hail Mary live up to the hype? So let me grab that, Mr. Producer, and we'll just see what he says. Roll tape.
A trend I've been making fun of a lot recently is how anytime something comes out that's good, it then gets paraded around as though it's the best thing ever made. And also, on the flip side of that coin, anything that comes out that's not very good or kind of mid is then just labeled as the worst thing ever made. It's an affront to God. Human beings have never produced something so dog shit like this. It's just these extremes.
Like The Acolyte.
And it's always so annoying. Like, especially like with horror movies. I talk about this one a lot because every 6 or so months there's a horror film that comes out and it's like, it's the scariest thing ever, you're going to fucking poop, it's gonna be so that's that's the noise you'll be making watching this one because it's that scary, it's gonna grip your fucking heart and do this with it. It's so extreme, and you watch it, it's like, okay, that was a fine movie, I guess. And they do that for anything. So now it's extremely commonplace that anything that comes out that's good has like a 99 on Metacritic or a 98 on Rotten Tomatoes. And then you play it or watch it and it's just like, oh, that was...
I kind of take his point here. The hyperbole of the internet, the sort of polar extremism of the internet is a bit insufferable at times. And look, I admit, I probably fall victim to this, but I will tell you, when I tell you something is the worst, I'm not exaggerating. When I tell you that The Acolyte, for me, is probably one of the worst TV series I've ever seen, that's not exaggeration. When I say that Godzilla Minus One is in my top 10, it's not exaggeration. Hell, I was tempted to put Hail Mary as a 10 out of 10, but I couldn't. I had to hold back half a point because there were a couple things in it that I was like, I wasn't wild about the montage in the beginning, the hand-wavy explanation about, the Iridians not knowing what radiation is, which made no sense at all. I had to hold back a half, and there was some pacing issues in the final third act, which weren't terrible. It was a minor issue, but so anyway, my point is, you can trust that the captain, while I may get a bit passionate at times, I am giving you a fair, honest, and, let's face it, devastatingly accurate assessment at all times. Now, Staffedy has delivered a compliment to the captain, which might as well be a super chat. It's so great. Star Fury says, I stumbled onto the notification for this stream and was so fucking happy. I squealed like a little girl. My bitch is leaking out. I don't know what that last part is. Oh my God. But seriously, it is such an honor. It's such an honor to hear those compliments. I really appreciate it. And it makes me feel guilty. Actually, Crowbar the Skull had a comment on one of my videos about how this is the only channel I have a paid subscription for, and it's like the least content. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so bad. I'm like, I want to deliver more quality, but I will tell you, my day job is 50 hours a week. That's not an excuse. I just that's not actually the main reason, because working 50 hours a week and doing a YouTube channel full time is definitely something that's doable for me. But really, when I've been away, understand that what I've been working on is Galaxy Born, and it's I'm getting the kind of momentum now where I think I can bring back more of the YouTube content. But the YouTube content must serve the higher goal, which is building this universe. And I could write this thing and get it out there, and nobody's having it. You know what I mean? It could be it could be High Guard. I could be writing High Guard. It's possible. I'm doing my best not to, but I will say this. Before it ever officially launches to where money is being exchanged, we'll already know that it's had beta readers, and there's already going to be a demand for it for the actual finished product. So that's all going into it. But as an artist, there's no guarantees, and there never will be. Crowbar says, I was trying to guilt the captain into streaming. Looks like it worked. 100% it did, Crowbar. It was a factor. I mean, Hail Mary is the number one reason that the stream is happening tonight. But your guilt trip, which was world class, and I give you credit for that, is certainly a contributing factor. An aggravating circumstance, if you will. Starfury says, Captain, you are always accurate except for your inter-fucking-stellar. Well, see, that's the funny thing about it, Starfury. Even then, I'm still devastatingly accurate when I say that Interstellar is one of the greatest films of all time. I can't listen. I understand. I respect your disagreement, Starfury. I respect that. You're entitled to that perspective. It's not my fault if I bear the burden of just happening to be right. It's tough. It's a cross. I'm willing to bear it for humanity. Galaxy Highborn Guard, says Fuman. The funniest thing is, I make fun of the shitheads that released High Guard. It's because of their sense of entitlement. But even so, even though they deserve what they got, I still feel like sympathy for them. I really do. It's like I feel sympathy for any creative. Even that weird guy, Director X, that came out with that Robin Hood thing. Do you remember that? Do you remember the Robin in the Hood thing? And it was so stupid. I even feel a little sad for that guy. It's like he worked hard on that. Of course it was woke slop and it was stupid. But in his own mind, it was genius. It was Shakespeare. This was the interpretation of Robin Hood that we all needed, And a part of me feels sympathy because it's not easy to put yourself out there. So anyway, okay, roll tape.
It was good. I don't know if it's like a near perfect masterpiece, but I mean, it was good. Like, everything just has to be taken to like the most extreme level of glaze or the most extreme level of spit. I don't know. It's just, I'm very tired of that. So when Project Hail Mary came out, the reason for this tangent.
I'm about to put this on 2 times speed.
Getting the same treatment where it's being labeled the best sci-fi film in the last decade or like 2 decades, whatever they're saying. One of the best movies
All right, stop
ever
the tape.
made.
Stop the tape. Would I say it's the best sci-fi film in the last decade or 2 decades, which he's being hyperbolic anyway, but to make his point, no, I wouldn't say that at all. I think there are several glorious science fiction films in the last 2 decades that are as good or better than Hail Mary, let's just put it that way. So obviously Interstellar I consider on a higher level than Hail Mary, but that's not important. That's not the point. That doesn't mean it isn't a great, truly great film that is so worth your time.
2026 has been blessed with a gift from the heavens above with Project Hail Mary, and I see that, and I'm just immediately turned off. I just go in with this preconception that it'll probably be good, but it's never going to live up to this hype. I just always think it sets things up for failure.
This is a mindset that never affects me. I am not like this at all. So many people are like this. If something is hyped or it's like negatively or positively, it like ruins the party for them. It's like, oh my God, now I can never enjoy it because it's never going to live up to the hype. Or, oh man, now everyone's so negative on it. I just know I'm not going to, it's, I don't know. Maybe there's not a negative version of that, but the positive version of that, this has never, ever affected me. If someone tells me, Garrett, this movie is the best fucking movie you have ever seen, and you need to see it, I get excited. I'm like, really? Really? It's that good? Oh, it's fucking great, bro! Wow. And then I go see it, and I get out of the theater, and I am just as likely to come out of that theater and say, bruh, that was the best fucking movie I've ever seen. Let me give you a perfect example of this. Mission Impossible Fallout. I wasn't even like the biggest Mission Impossible movie fan. I mean, my favorite at that point was Mission Impossible 2. Yes, it was Mission Impossible 2. I stand by that. I love that movie. I love it. But anyway, I liked the Mission Impossible movies, but I wasn't like a super fan, right? And then the hype around Mission Impossible Fallout was through the roof. Everyone was saying this is the best Mission Impossible movie by a mile. Holy shit. How they have outdone themselves on top of outdoing themselves. This is one of the most incredible movies ever. There's no way they could ever top this, which turned out to be true, unfortunately. How can you succeed this hard? Like, I mean, it was everything. The internet was just crazy with how good this movie was. And all I felt when I heard that was, fuck, I got to go see this. That is great. That sounds great. You got to see all the Mission Impossible. Oh, my God. All the stunts are the best ever. The fights are the best ever. Henry Cavill's the best ever. Oh, my God. You got to see it. It's so fucking good. I go see Mission Impossible Fallout. Okay. It's amazing. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite, to this day, action films of all time. It's phenomenal. That motorcycle chase through Paris, the scene in which Ethan Hunt is visualizing the murder of all these innocent police that he's being asked to do to maintain his cover. I could list all the great things in that movie. The ending, when he reconnects with his wife he had to let go, and she basically tells him, like, the fact that you're out there is like gives me hope. It's just everything about that movie. The action sequences, the fight scenes, everything about it. It was phenomenal. It's the best of the series by a mile. I loved it. I only was more excited about it after I saw it. So this phenomenon does not affect me. Now, if I see something and it's not as good, it's not because it didn't live up to the hype. It's because the hype was incorrect and I was. That's the difference.
But in the case of Project Hail Mary, I do think the glaze is warranted. I don't know if I go as far as to call it the best.
Yes! He got there, folks. He got there. I'm so happy. It is warranted. The glaze is warranted. I didn't know if he was going to agree with me on this. I really didn't.
Best sci-fi film of the last decade, or the best sci-fi film ever made. But holy shit, is it an extremely good movie. Now, I haven't read the book this is based on. I know it's a beloved book, and from my understanding, based on everything that I'm seeing from everyone that's watched this movie, this is a very faithful adaptation of the source material. Which, trust me, if you're standing up, you need to sit down, because this is a big revelation that'll knock you off your fucking feet. It seems like the winning formula when it comes to adaptations is staying true to the source material, because we're seeing time and time again that when these studios decide to faithfully adapt something, they usually make something much better than if they try and do it their own way, pinky up thinking they know better. We're more sophisticated than this shit that we're adapting, like Halo, for example. We know better. And so I'm happy to see that fans of the book are enjoying this movie, because even as someone who hasn't read the book, I really enjoyed this movie. I imagine it's probably even better if you have read the book, but for me, having no knowledge at all of what this movie was even about, I was pretty blown away from start to finish. The movie comes out of the gate swinging. We are introduced to...
Okay, so we'll leave it there, but I had no idea, because I hadn't watched this video, like what he was going to say about it, so I was equally prepared for him to just be like, Oh, shoot. Jeremy's streaming, so we got to raid his stream after this if he's still going. So I'll set up that raid here in a minute. But, I mean, I had no idea if Charlie was going to say that. I say that like I'm his buddy or something. That's just what Asmund calls him sometimes. Moist Critical. I had no idea if Moist Critical was going to go one way or the other, and I was prepared to argue with him or to agree with him in the case that he was correct. And it turns out he's right. So really good. Okay, now there's one more thing on Project Hail, a couple more things. On Project Hail Mary I got to cover. Now, one of the best parts of this film, as it turns out, is not Ryan Gosling's portrayal of the character of Grace, not the character of Grace, but Ryan Gosling himself. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let me grab this. I'm going to grab this clip from the Project Hail Mary Twitter. We have only recently, who was it? We were recently getting fan attacks from. I think Rachel Zegler's been out there recently talking about all the hate she got and all the bullshit deserved. We've got all these game devs that are whining that all their games are being torpedoed rightfully by disengaged gamers and YouTubers that correctly identify their work as trash. It's somewhere at the top of mind, but you know the thing. You know the thing. To in quote our great former president Joe Biden, you know the thing. They constantly claim that we are the reason. Actually, you know what? The Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Oh man, the tens of wackos that love that show are so mad. They're so mad that it got canceled, and then they're so mad that we won because we always win. We will continue winning, and we will win totally and comprehensively. But it's a rare breath of fresh air to see a Hollywood celebrity who understands his role as an artistic professional. I've often talked about this with, actually, let me grab this real quick, Mr. Producer. Do I have this? No. It would be Stephen Pressfield. I don't have the exact quotes from the book pulled up. Sometimes I do but it wasn't necessarily planning on this. Let me just grab I'm going to rely on Google AI to just summarize the concept for me, but it's basically something like this. The great author Stephen Pressfield of The War of Art has a philosophy called turning pro, right? He basically says the professional mindset or turning pro is defined as a conscious decision to pursue a calling with discipline, commitment, and mastery rather than dabbling for fun or validation. It's an internal transformation where an individual shifts from an ego-driven amateur state to a professional state of practice to defeat resistance, the negative internal force of self-sabotage that manifests as procrastination, fear, and self-doubt. I'm trying to see, this doesn't exactly... There's a couple points in this that are germane to what I'm talking about, but two in particular. So one of the defining characteristics of an artistic professional versus an amateur in this framework is detachment from results. That is, a professional, we're speaking of the artist here, the actor, the director, the game developer, whoever it may be, the musician. A professional does not take success or failure personally. They separate their self-worth, which is not easy to do, believe me, from their work and focus on the process rather than the prize or the external approval. Now, who does this make you think of right off the bat? It makes you think of snotty, entitled actresses like Rachel Zegler or game developers that whine, oh, they didn't play the game long enough to understand. Well, those are amateurs. Those are people that have attached their self-worth to success or failure, and they are focused on the prize, the external validation that they seek. Also, in common parlance, they call it clout. And also self-validation. While amateurs seek third-party approval, professionals rely on their own standards and internal reinforcement to keep going, especially when no one is watching. Professional versus amateur mindset here. Some of the factors. This is really what's germane to my point. Relationship to failure. The amateur takes it personally and gets crushed. The professional sees it as a natural part of the process. Validation. The amateur craves external approval and likes. The professional focuses on mastery and internal standards, which brings me neatly along to what Ryan Gosling, a true professional, had to say when he surprised an audience. He showed up at a theater for a Project Hail Mary showing just to surprise the crowd, and this is what happened. So let me full screen this, and we'll roll tape.
What's going on?
Hi everyone. What's up, New York? Hey, why don't we just surprise you? So surprise. This is an early show on the Thursday, so you guys, what's up?
No, wait, so I get extra credit for having the bucket.
You got the bucket. I haven't seen the bucket yet. What's your name, Miss?
Gadget Trish.
Gadget?
Yeah, got my YouTube channel.
Oh my God, yeah, you gotta hit that up. 6 years ago, I got the manuscript. The most ambitious thing I'll ever make. It seemed impossible. It was too good not to give it a shot. 6 years later, we did it. Here we are. We're all back in theaters. It's not your job to keep them open. It's our job to make things that make it worth you coming out. So you're about to go to another galaxy, make an alien best friend, and save the stars. This movie's for you. Enjoy the trip.
And in case you didn't catch it, because the audio is not perfect, he basically said it's not our job to save theaters, or it's, sorry, to the audience, it's not your job to save theaters, it's our job to make movies worth you coming out to see them. That is, in a sentence, the professional artistic mindset. That is the answer to every single clown, whether it be a game dev, whether it be a media journalist, whether it be a filmmaker or an idiot like Leslie Headland. Their attitude should be, it is not your job as fans to support Star Trek or support the property or support the universe. It is our job to make something worthy of you watching it. That's a professional. That is a professional. And it shows in the work, because only a professional mindset produces a film as glorious and brilliant as Project Hail Mary. One more time. Let's see. What was the... He also mentioned 6 years. 6 years of work. So that started during COVID. It took him 6 years to invest in this project. If it had failed, if it had been a complete failure, it's not. It's crushing it at the box office. If it had been a complete failure, he would have just had to accept that failure is part of the process. But as it turns out, it was a home run.
Later, we did it. Here we are. We're all back in theaters. It's not your job to keep them open. It's our job to make things that make it worth you coming out. So you're about to go to another galaxy.
Just so amazing. So yes, hat tip and a captain's salute to Ryan Gosling, a true professional. That's a professional at work. Impressive, inspiring. It inspires me. It inspires me as a professional myself. Yeah, exactly, Crowbar. That's an artist. That is a true artist who, and by the way, that is an artist who is a master of his craft, right? That is an artist who has a healthy ego, relationship with one's ego as an artist. Because, honestly, the problem with people like Rachel Zegler or like John Boyega is a good example. Like they have this prima donna mindset that like they're owed something, they're entitled to something. Well, that's the mindset of an amateur who is dependent on external validation. Their work is their identity. The healthy professional mindset is exactly this. It's that, hey, you know what, you guys, I'm glad you came out. It's not your job to save theaters. We are not entitled. The purpose of making a film is not so theaters are open. The purpose of making a film is not so that I, Ryan Gosling, have a job making movies. The purpose of making a movie is not so that people have jobs making movies. The purpose of a movie is to add something beautiful to your life, to tell you something true about your own humanity that is so compelling and so meaningful that it motivates you to come out and see it because of the great work we're presenting to you. To have earned your business is the purpose of creating great art. That's a professional. A man who does the work and goes home is a normal guy, said Starfury. Yes, agreed. Agreed. Can't look at people with asymmetrical faces. Who has the asymmetrical face, Fu Man? Certainly not your dear captain. I have a face that was made for radio. I mean, YouTube. Now, there was one more thing, just one last thing on this, and then we're moving on to our next topic, and it's a good one. It's a good one. I just wanted to read this post. So this is on X. I don't know who this is. The name is Bishop Robert Barron. I don't know anything about the guy. I just stumbled on this post and I loved it. So we're going to take a look at it. But this is what he said about Project Hail Mary. Quote, I just saw the much talked about film Project Hail Mary. It's very entertaining and uplifting and features a fine performance from Ryan Gosling. But what most intrigued me were the powerful Christian themes at play in it. The title, of course, refers to the Hail Mary pass in football, since the adventure undertaken is a fairly desperate attempt to save the planet. But it also becomes eminently clear that the reference is not just to football, but to the Blessed Mother herself, for the Gosling character is undoubtedly a Christ figure. I don't want to give away too much of the plot, but it involves a willingness to sacrifice one's life utterly in order to deliver the entire human race from disaster. It is, of course, no accident that Gosling's character is called Ryland Grace. For throughout the movie, his presence and actions constitute undeserved favor to others. A particularly intriguing character in the film is a sober German scientist. That would be Dr. What was her name? I keep forgetting. Dr. Strat. That's right. Dr. Strat is who he's referring to. A sober German scientist who relentlessly presses Grace to make the supreme sacrifice, even when he is unwilling. That's one of the key features of the film. So the Project Hail Mary, just close quote for a second, it's a one-way trip. There's no way back. If you go on this mission, there's no way back to Earth, and you're giving up your life. So that's what the bishop is talking about here. Open quote. She, Strat, represented for me the great moral demand that presses upon us throughout our lives, continually summoning us to self-gift. A last observation. Jesus had a second in command whom he called Peter the Rock. Ryland Grace has a very unusual sidekick whom he calls Rocky. I'll leave it at that. I know lots of people say that Christianity is in irreversible decline and that we are inhabiting, at least in the West, a post-Christian society. I'm not so sure. Like it or not, we remain a Christ-haunted culture, and a film like Project Hail Mary makes this clear. So that is, oh, that's right, I'm locked out. That is a brilliant, brilliant quote. And that really puts a nice bow on my entire feeling. You know, this film is an argument for a higher purpose and a higher meaning in the universe. And I do really love John C. Reilly's point about how, you know, it is immature in the extreme to have a view of humanity that is pure cynicism and to say, you know, humans are just trash, we're ruining the planet or whatever, we cause all these wars, we invented nuclear weapons, whatever it is. Everything sucks and everything's screwed. And neither is it is it wise to deny the fact that life is both good and bad? But the truth is that there is great meaning and beauty and complexity in life, and that there's something worth saving. And Project Hail Mary is the perfect exemplar of that. And the theme of faith and the philosophy of friendship and the language of the human and Iridian heart is at the soul of the film, and it is magnificent. So I loved it. I just really, it's so nice to talk about something that was wonderful, and I really enjoyed talking about it. So, okay, that's Hail Mary. Now, we have Captain has a face chiseled by a blind, retarded sculptor, says Starfear. What did I do? He was just showering me with laurels, and now the barb. I mean, if I could deny it, I would. You should see him from the side. I think you meant side. You said from the sire, Fu Man Blue. I think you meant the side. Oh, you corrected yourself. Okay, good. I know you've never seen the profile, because Fu Man can only recognize me when I'm looking right at him. There we go. Okay. What's next in the stack of stuff? Oh, you know what's next in the stack of stuff? You guys are going to love this. You are just going to love this. It's a segment that we haven't done for at least a month, and it's time for this segment. We need this segment. It's a little segment that I like to call...
What are you laughing at?
That's right. It's time for a little grave dancing. And, not only are woke, activist, wacko, just corporatist storytelling projects on the decline in cinema and in TV. And they are. And don't worry, we still got problems, but they're on the decline. They're on the back foot. The consumers have inflicted defeat after defeat after defeat on crap storytelling. But they are on the full-blown retreat in the gaming industry. It is a bloodbath out there. It is an absolute bloodbath. So you had this High Guard fiasco, and then you had 1348 ex voto, which is a complete revisionist historical piece about a medieval lesbian knight saving her extremely unfortunate-looking lesbian princess lover. It's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid. And it got absolutely destroyed. It had a terrible release. Nobody's playing this game because of course not. Because of course not. How do they keep getting surprised by this? But anyway, we have some absolutely delicious meltdowns to go over. I do want to pull up this video real quick. I don't know. Not that one first, Mr. Producer. Not that one. Let's go to Hero High. I don't know if it's Hero High or Hero Hey. I think it's Hero Hey. I'm going to go with that. This is a delightful little YouTube channel. I don't actually know if it is a little YouTube channel. How many subscribers does he have, Mr. Producer? Get the numbers for me. I need exact 668,000 subscribers. So maybe not so little, but the point is, I don't know why, but it's the most, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a genre in novels called the cozy mystery. If there's such a thing as a cozy YouTube channel, it's Hero Hey. He just has fun, just endearing little commentaries on internet drama. And I just get the biggest kick out of him. Okay, here we go. It's such a great channel. Anyway, but he covers all of this drama that I would never know about a lot of this because I'd have to follow all these wackos accounts and I'd have to watch all the things they're saying all the time. But I don't have to do that because Hero Hey does it for me. And so 1348 was a massive flop. and the meltdown was fantastic. Okay, roll tape, Mr. Producer.
You guys might have heard about this game, 1348 Ex Voto. It's been in the news for a while now, but it just had its official release yesterday. This game is a game where you play as knight-errant Eta on a quest to save her lesbian lover. So far, reviews are mixed, and the player count is only slightly over 400.
400!
Criticism such...
400! Unbelievable. It's just, isn't it incredible? It's breathtaking, isn't it? Flop after flop. They do this like 6 times a year. There's like 6 of these a year. You get Conquered, you get Star Wars Outlaws, you get Dustborn, it's like 6 of them. And every single one of, well, maybe not, I don't know, did Outlaws was it a flop? I don't think it did well, but it wasn't like this bad. But even so, there's so many of them that are just complete catastrophes. And they just keep doing it. And every time they're surprised.
Jazz, the game feels really buggy and it can't be recommended in its current state, that it's not tactical and it's not fun. Even this one talks about how they so wanted the game to do well, but they go on to list a number of issues, similarly talking about bugs, clunky combat, boring gameplay, stuff like that. But the reason I want to talk about this today is because this is actually some of the funniest cope I've seen in a long time. This is a whole new line I've never heard before, actually, so check this out. Emerald Apple had pointed out that this game is flopping, and this person says, the game has been out only for a few hours, and what? I'm sorry. Paychecks aren't usually until Fridays anyways. People want to stomp on queer stories the moment they can.
Oh my God.
Raw.
They're so pathetic. How is it possible to be a human that's this lame? It's like a superpower. The game's only been out for a few hours, and paychecks aren't usually in till Fridays anyway. People want to stomp. So what they're saying is people haven't gotten their paycheck to buy the game yet because, of course, absolutely, they're definitely going to buy it. They just haven't got their paycheck yet. Oh, my God. Listen, chat. If I ever say this about the reason Galaxy Board hasn't like gotten any pre-orders yet is because Friday is payday. If I ever try something like that, you have my permission to destroy me. Okay, it's permission granted. It won't be considered mutiny. It will be considered pre-authorized captain correction. It's so unbelievable. The cope.
We just didn't get our paychecks yet. All right, bro. Well, I'll tell you what. Today's Friday. Let's see how the player count does today. I have a strong suspicion it's going to be even worse than it was yesterday. But okay, go tell us how the modern audience is going to support this game once y'all get your paychecks in on Friday. Sure. The code continues in the replies. Check these out. It released on a random Thursday. Let's give it time. Dang. And the OP's like, exactly. The other person says, it was also dead in the middle of the workday in North and South America. Some of us have jobs, lol. OP's like, yep. Even if they want to defend this game so badly, could they really not come up with like a better defense than the three comments we just read? I mean, that's just such cope. It's crazy.
Imagine living your life from lie to lie. That's basically what the life of a wacko woke activist terminally online, that's basically what they are. They are keeping themselves going by comforting themselves with delusions and lies, and when one finally is disproven and falls apart, they just hop to the next one. And it's like their whole worldview is a house of cards. Their whole worldview is the reassurance of the delusion. It's such a devastatingly ineffective way to live one's life. And it's why everything that they touch turns to crap.
Of course, there were also people calling out the cope in the replies. For example, weird how no other game has this issue. I guess we should see a huge uptick in players after Friday, then fingers crossed. The OP says, nothing you say has any meaning to me, be gone. Yeah, I guess they got offended by that one.
They're
and this
such
one's saying,
children.
Sad, but I doubt it has
Nothing
any
of anything.
chances.
Nothing you
The
say has
OP
any
says
meaning.
It does. Oh, yeah, it has a chance. Yeah, okay, we'll see how that ages, won't we? You gotta love how the OP also tried to make it sound like, oh, people just dislike this game because it's a queer story. They completely ignore the criticism about the combat being bad, slow, clunky, that the game's filled with bugs, that the game isn't fun, that even people who wanted this game to do well are massively disappointed in the game. But hey, excuses. It's also always a weird thing when you see people defending a game that's objectively bad purely because the game was pandering to them. It's like, could you...
Right, Fumet. Not everyone's living paycheck to paycheck. Staffhitty says, I'm the slave in Caesar's chariot, captain whispering in your ear. Okay.
You come off like a bigger tool. Oh, they pandered? I'm going to die on this hill of defending an objectively bad game now. Like, bro, stop unquestionably consuming rainbow capitalism. Try to have some original thought. Stop being used like a tool. That's my advice, at least. Now, if you're out of the loop on this thing, part of the reason why people have been like watching this game so much is because the devs have been completely masked off about how they want to cater to the modern audience with this game. And they even like bragged.
You know what's so dumb about these people too is like they're complaining that like, oh my God, the gay representation, oh, it's getting crushed. It's like, don't you want it to be good though? If you really want gay representation, don't you want it to be something that is actually like people want to watch or play? Like me, I'm watching this show Heated Rivalry on HBO. And let me just tell you, it's only for a certain demographic, okay? So I'm not recommending it to most of this chat. You'll probably know when you see the cover for it. But anyway, but it's actually one of the rare ones. It's actual quality. And it's like, I would not even want everything to be turned into that. But if it exists, it should be high quality. They should be taking their complaints to the idiots who made these games and made it crap and made it implausible.
About having some sort of modern agenda, so to speak, because they got mad at another game, Knight's Path, and then tried to make some...
Don't look up... Just trust me, Fuman, don't look up what Heated Rivalry is. Just don't look it up.
Snarky response to them. We see how that's playing out now. And then they also previously had bragged about having apparently 100K and then 200K wish lists for this game. And I instantly saw that. I'm like, yeah, right, dude. There's no evidence of this. The information's not publicly available. They never provided evidence of these 200K wish lists. And excuse me, it was actually 250K. So even more to my point, then that's even worse. It's even worse look for them. Oh, we have 250K wish lists. Barely breaks 400 concurrent. Yeah, okay, GG. And so we get responses
how can you have 250,000 wish lists and you get barely 400 players? How's that even possible? There is a massive disconnect. Fumet says copy, not looking it up. Wise decision.
Arc 509 saying, no one is ever going to care about your game if the only marketing you did for it was starting a fight on Twitter. Now, when you look into the developer studio behind this game, Sedlio, they say they're a small new game studio made of an international team of AAA veterans. Huh, where have we heard?
Michael Archangel should look it up, though. I feel like Michael Archangel would like it. I think, maybe, might like it. I should say might like it.
Heard that before recently. And Sedlio makes 1348X Voto. They have 15 people working at the studio, apparently. How the heck?
Look at this menagerie. Oh, man. Man buns and the haircut everywhere you look. Just hair dye and man buns. It makes me sick.
You have 15 people work on that. And
when did making video games become such a fashion runway show? Does anyone else find this weird? I mean, the look at these pictures. They're all like they're like Hollywood starlet headshots. They're like, I'm the producer of this elite, sophisticated game. It's like, it's a fucking video game. Video games were considered moral depravity when I was a kid, and it was the Nintendo. When it was Super Mario Brothers, it was garbage that would rot your brain. Anyone who said they were making video games for a living in the 80s and 90s would be considered odd, strange, not in possession of a real job, basically like a YouTuber today or a streamer. They would be considered kind of the lowest form of life in a capitalistic system. You would never advertise that you were creating video games in the 80s or 90s. The only people who would care that you were making video games are the video game players. Now, they take these pictures, and it's like glamour shots. It's like, I'm the 3D artist. It's like, I don't think you have the same priorities about creating a video game that I have. Look at this guy. Look at the guy in the upper left. He's got like this whole like sword pose. What the fuck is that? Honestly, these should look like awkward employee ID badges. You know what I mean? They should just be framed in the shot, and it should basically just look like this. It should just basically be, actually, Mr. Producer, hang on. I gotta let me get this. Here we go. Watch out. This is how it should look. That's how it should look. It should look like they're kind of like, are we taking the picture? Is the picture over? Yep, that's it. Next one. They should look like awkward, pimply nerds. There should be no sign of makeup. There should be no fresh haircuts. They should not look happy to be there. They should just be like, I'm just trying to get my coding done for the day. They should look like nerds. Awkward, socially rejected nerds. And instead, they are socially rejected weirdos who are acting like they're socially elite and important. We are the sophisticated video game making class. We're better than you. Star Fury says, give me my moral depravity. I want my Mass Effect blue bitches and Miranda Lawson's ass. Oh my God, that ass. Oh, when I heard that in the Legendary Edition they might be like toning down the Miranda ass shots, I was pissed. Pissed! That is a crime against humanity. Let's see. Where is my representation? They're so white. You're right. There's a little too much. A little too much whiteness in there.
Ends up being what many people who played it are calling a quote-unquote unfinished buggy mess, essentially. Oh, wait, these are people from the AAA industry. Okay, yeah, that checks out. And so...
Okay, now the other... Let's see, let me grab the other one from Hero Hate. This one's great. So one of the devs for X Photo had a melty, and Hero Hate covered it. Here it is.
Guys, it's painful. It hurts. The 1348 Xphoto devs blocked me on Twitter. I didn't even do anything wrong. They blocked me on Twitter. All right, real talk. Yes, they blocked me on twitter.com, but it's hilarious. It's actually...
My senior officers just banned the bot from what was it? Twitch. Yeah, all I get on Twitch is bots. I just throw it out there. I don't know what I'm doing with that. This is the main event. But good job, man. Good job.
Great news. Can you imagine being blocked by the dev studio that made the modern audience slop, jank, buggy slop game, the lesbian night game as they call it, 1348 Xphoto? Because yesterday they posted a damage control statement on their Sedlio account, that being their dev studio account, game studio account. And I gave a little response to them right here. And I guess they didn't like that. Because,
wait, what was his response?
They ended up blocking me for my response. They really don't want people seeing
the 1348 Xphoto studio really didn't like how I pointed out that they're AAA veteran devs. Wait, what was his...
And on their Sedlio account, that being their dev studio account, game studio account. And I gave a little response to them right here.
Okay, here. So this is what he said to them. Hey, so about that, quote, we're just creating our first game. Also, Sedlio is made of an international team of AAA veterans, taking a similar strategy as High Guard devs after they got criticism. Interesting choice. And so they blocked him for this because he called them out for being fibbers. They're fibbers.
Here. And I guess they didn't like that because, yeah, they ended up blocking me for my response. They really don't want people seeing this response. Well, now we're going to make a video on it, so I can't say that worked out very well for them, did it? All right, let's break this down, go through the context here. Here is the damage control post as mentioned, and they immediately had the responses locked.
Is he going to read it? I think he's going to read it.
By the way, hold on a second. There we go. See, only some accounts can reply, and there's no responses. They completely locked this down. But of course, that means people are still able to quote tweet it, which, as mentioned, I did, and many people did, laughing at this statement. We'll take a look at some other public reception after we get the full context here. So, said Leo, the devs behind 1348 Ex Voto, post this. Hi, everyone. We've been following your feedback and reviews
closely. No, you haven't. No, you haven't, because if you were, you would have delayed the release of this game, or just even better, not made it at all. You would have made the game about an actual, authentic, medieval protagonist in the role of a knight, which would have been a man. A man. Or else you would not have made it. So no, you weren't following feedback and reviews closely.
And first of all, we want to humbly thank you for the time and attention you've dedicated to our tiny project. Your constructive feedback...
Tiny project. Multi-million-dollar project. Like, yeah, tell you, oh, just our little pet project here. Little labor of love.
Is incredibly valuable to us, and we want you to
know
it
that
isn't. We're hard at work improving the game in the ways many of you have suggested. So
Won't
far,
help.
our main focus has been addressing critical bugs, some of which you'll find fixed in the patch we just released on PlayStation 5 and PC. Beyond that, our top priorities are improving performance across all platforms, adding more polish to key aspects of the game, and continuing bug fixing, like the subtitles being too small on some screens and more. Creating our first game has been a journey that started with nothing but passion and curiosity, and it is with that same passion that our small team is taking in your feedback. With your help and support, we'll keep doing our best to deliver something we hope you'll enjoy. Signed, said Leo. Oh yeah.
This is the quintessential attitude of like it's this subtle, almost passive aggressive entitlement that these teams that are working for these big corporations, they always express it. And it's such an interesting contrast to Ryan Gosling's attitude, right? He says, this film was a big risk. We started 6 years ago. Didn't know if it was going to work, but I just believed in it, and I just moved it across the field. I hope you love it. It's not your job, the audience, to save the theater. It's our job, the creatives, to create something worth your time and worth you coming out to see it, right? And so his attitude is that the reason we're doing this is to earn your business. And the subtle level of entitlement that you get from these ex voto devs is this idea that, like, because we were passionate about it, because we poured our heart and souls into it, because we cared so much about it, and this was our dream job, and we just loved this story so much, you should support it. It deserves support because of how much we care about it. That's not how art works. That's not the professional mindset. That's the amateur mindset. Again and again and again. Fu Man Blue saying Black Snape is hilarious. The memes are great and will only get better. Crowbar saying, do you think people will watch anyway? Hard to say, says Fu Man Blue. Depends on why they're That's a good point. The Harry Potter series, yes, that's all in the news about... I tend to think that the Harry Potter series is going to be successful. I think it's going to be successful. I don't think it's going to be the kind of disaster that a Starfleet Academy or an Acolyte is, despite the bad castings. I think that it will. I think Harry Potter is such a massive property, and it hasn't sustained the kind of reputational damage that a lot of the other properties have had. I don't think it likely that they've got truly stupid people working on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's possible. I mean, what if it's bad? What if it's really badly written? But all they have to do is adapt the source material and it'll be fine. So I think it will probably meet with a measure of I think it will be pretty successful. That's my take on it. Am I going to be watching it? No, because I don't give a crap about Harry Potter. I've never enjoyed the Harry Potter character, the series, the books, or any of it. I find the movies incredibly overrated, and I don't understand what people see in it. But that being said, I totally get it. If people love it, it's great. Enjoy it. It's just not my thing. It's just never going to be my thing. I do not see what people see in Harry Potter. I mean, I kind of do. Let me put it another way. I see what people see in the lore. The lore of Harry Potter is very cool. It's very vivid. It's very beautiful. It's really well constructed. I see what people see in the lore, Hogwarts and the wizarding world and all that stuff. But I don't see what people see in the story. I don't get it. The story is the professors that run Hogwarts are as malevolent, as unintentionally malevolent of characters as I've ever seen. But that's all. I'm not going to poo-poo Harry Potter. I'm like, my opinion of Harry Potter is like Staffier's opinion of Interstellar.
Yeah, they're definitely open to feedback. That's why they instantly lock their responses to this. And so I make this little response to them. Not much here. Look, it's a very simple response. I post a screenshot from their own website where they say Sedlio is a small new game studio made of an international team of AAA veterans. With that screenshot, I go on to say, their quote, "We're just creating our first game." And then I quote again from their website, Sedlio is made of an international team of AAA veterans. Taking a similar strategy as Highguard devs after they got criticism. Interesting choice. Little laugh there. Little fun, right? Well, I guess not to them. To them, it's very offensive. How dare you? How dare you say this? Get blocked. Then, as you can see, I make my final tweet on this matter, telling people how I got blocked. And
salty,
about
aren't they?
Now, some of the 1348 ex voto defenders, because there's actually like 3 of them out there. Believe it or not, there is like 3 of them. And they're mad at me for this take as well. Saying things like, Hirohei, they're saying this is their first game as Sedlio. This is their first game as Sedlio, this new studio. And it's like, yeah, obviously that's what they're saying, but also obviously in that damage control post, they're trying to frame this in a manipulative manner, making it seem like they're inexperienced devs as a means of deflecting the criticism that they're getting for their game and framing it in this manipulative manner in an attempt to farm pity. And so therefore, there's nothing wrong with me pointing out how when they're running damage control, they're trying to frame themselves as like these inexperienced devs doing something new. But on their own website, they frame things differently. They frame it as, oh, we're these elite AAA veterans. By the way, they also said that they are AAA veterans bound by a strong passion for meaningful and quality games. Oh yeah, that's really sincere. We love quality games, guys. Here's our bug-filled mess. Be sure to buy it on release. 250k wishlist, by the way.
Here's our bug-filled
Here's like
mess.
One of their defenders says, reminder, this is a studio of literally 15 people, and they're still this passionate and responsive to community feedback. Dude, they're blocking people. They're locking response.
Redoubt Production says, I must head off early to prep for a long weekend of traveling. Long live the Captain's Cast. Why, thank you, and long live Redoubt Productions. A historical man. I respect it. Crowbar the Skull says the Wokesters will claim a win. They're taking an absolute L, Crowbar. Absolute L. In fact, let me grab this one. Because we kind of get the point there. I love Hirohei's videos. They're so nourishing to my soul. They really are. Oh, dude, his Blue Sky videos are so good because he tracks all the wackos on Blue Sky. But what he tracks is the wackos on Blue Sky banning each other because they're such crazy woke nut jobs that if one of them isn't enough of a nut job, they, oh my God, Nazi alert, and they ban each other. And then they're like, I didn't say anything bad. How come I got banned? I thought this was supposed to be liberal utopia. Dude, he doesn't do enough of those. Those are the best ones. You gotta find the Hirohei videos where he's covering Blue Sky. It's so good. I wish he had 3 of those a day. I'd watch them all.
guys remember how last week I was literally talking about how it's become a recurring theme for modern audience types to be complaining about gamers looking at the SteamDB player charts and talking about the concurrent player count, peak player count, stuff like that, right? And how these numbers, how the data looks really bad for a lot of AAA games we've been seeing, or in the context of Highguard, ex-AAA devs who are now making their own AA studio, albeit receiving funding from Tencent, as we found out later on. This, of course, was all very reminiscent of how around a year ago it was also being reported that Ubisoft was allegedly looking into trying to pressure Steam to similarly hide the concurrent player counts because they're offended by the data, just like...
That's true, Star Fury. Banning is liberal utopia, and at its farthest extreme, it's banning everything. It's banning speech, it's banning groups of people, it's banning your own life at a certain point.
Like these recent modern audience people are as well. And that takes us to this new report from Insider Gaming. Just yesterday, they reported marathon player count watching is unemployed behavior, says an Overwatch dev. So a bunch of modern audience corporate shills have been saying the same stuff lately, as we just discussed, and now this Overwatch dev comes out and says the same sort of rhetoric. How original and just as pathetic. As we can see, this developer is actually...
Exactly, Fu Man. Strict censorship, a key to real freedom.
A senior designer at Overwatch, Dylan Snyder, only speaks for me, says in the bio, and he/him. Here's the post of Dylan's that's now making the news, but before we take a look at that, let's get the context by reading the post that he's responding to. As this user had presumably been talking about Marathon's player count, saying with a 50% player drop on a weekend with only an indie game and Pocopia releasing next to it, not even direct competition in its genre, and it's incapable of retaining its player base. Let me just point out that this post only had 1 like and 1 quote. 1 like and 1 quote. Oh my gosh, that is just definitely worth a senior dev from Overwatch tweeting about and getting offended about. Like, look, even if he wants to get mad at this topic and this discussion, why don't you bring a post that's actually getting more traction? Seriously, one with 1 like? Man's getting 1 guide by a post with 1 like. I mean, yeah, you know what? That's pretty par of the course for an Overwatch dev. That is the exact sort of thing you would expect from an Overwatch dev. And so that dev goes on to say, is the 50% player drop in the room with us right now? Feel free to dislike and pass up any game you want. More power to you. But this is big unemployed maidenless behavior. These corporate shills have no actual response to any of us bringing up the data and talking about the data. All they do is get offended. And like you saw in the beginning, call us incels for bringing up the player count, and now this guy is similarly like, oh, it's maidenless behavior. Bro, you guys are weird as heck for making this like a sexual thing. We're looking at data.
Isn't it incredible? So this is exactly the delusional amateur mindset. Their games are going down in flames. All the things they claim work, the modern audience that's supposed to make them all this money, and when they're called out with data and facts, their only response is to basically have petulant schoolyard ad hominem attacks on small accounts that aren't even getting many likes or views. Anyway, so that is to say this. Okay, so
and talking business.
Did he have something about? Let me grab this part here.
The decision to buy a $40 game that people spent years making is fun and corporations put millions of dollars into is too much. It doesn't make sense to me. What doesn't make sense? People are not obligated to support Marathon, to support Bungie, or any corporation.
So okay, let me grab this. This is so delicious. This is so delicious. So anyway, you've got the Highguard devs having a meltdown. You've got the Marathon devs. You got the Blizzard devs, right? They're all these little twits that think that they're owed a living. Asmongold had a quote tweet. Hang on, where is it? This is his reply. Okay. How do I view the original post? I want to view the original post. All right, hang on. I'm going to see. Hang on. Delay of game, chat. Delay of game. I know there's a way to go up to the higher level here so I can see the actual post. I'm such a boomer right now. It's really bad. Okay, there it is. There it is. Didn't he have... Wildlight Entertainment, creators of Highguard, has seemingly laid off most of its staff after the game failed to retain... Oh, dang it, this is the wrong one. I bookmarked one. There was one where Asmongold had the Welcome Home McDonald's Pepe, and he was replying to an actual dev that was whining. It was that he ratioed him. It was so good. It was so delicious. I thought it was that one. It wasn't. But I'm not going to bore you trying to find it. Okay, anyway. All right, moving on. So my point is, they're having big old melties. It's really pathetic. I thought there's too much in the stack of stuff, chat. I'm in a real pickle here. What time is it, Mr. Producer? We've been going how many hours? We're almost at 3 hours, aren't we? We're at about 2 hours, 37. And I've got probably 5 more hours of content. I'm not going to go that long. But I do have more. We've got the Dune Part 3 trailer. We've got Mando and Grogu stuff. We've got Maul Shadow Lord. I've got a guy twisting my arm. He's working on me every day to watch this Maul Shadow Lord. He's sending me clips of it. He's like, you've got to watch it when it comes out. Bruh, okay. I mean, I'm not saying I don't think it might be good. I'm just saying, like, I just don't care about Star Wars anymore. He's like, bro, it's going to be good. So then I pulled that up, and then I've got this great article about how Hollywood is making movies for it. So I just have so much shit. I've got the Starfleet Academy canceled. I've got that to go over. So I don't even know. Oh, and then we have Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I haven't even talked about that yet. I have so much stuff. This is what happens when the Captain's Cast doesn't happen for a month. I wind up with a stack of stuff that is so stuffed, I don't even know what to do with it all. Stoffield, he says, Marathon in 1348 may have had a bad week, but I have had a blinding one. Commissar Yarrick, Old Baelai, is back from the dead, and 11th edition 40K has just been announced. My wallet is crying. Oh, man. Dude, you know what, Star Fury? I am reading the first book of the Horus Heresy. Yes, I have started reading it, and it's audiobook. I'm actually doing the audiobook. And you know what's funny is that, so the first book of the Horus Heresy begins with this crusade to unite all of humanity, and amidst this crusade for the God Emperor of Man, there is a false emperor on this human world. I'm sure you know all this, but it's for the benefit of the larger audience, you see. And they have sent Horus and his forces to dispatch this false emperor claiming to be the God Emperor of Man on an Earth-like planet. Now, the problem is I didn't know all of this. So the book opens and it's describing all the stuff about the Emperor and the death of the Emperor and all this. And I still don't know all these characters. You've got Sejanus, and you've got Abaddon, and you've just got all these characters. And I literally had to just stop listening, and I went and Googled, what the fuck is happening at the beginning of the Horus Heresy? I don't even understand what's happening. And so I Googled it, and I read like I hate to have to do this, but I read like an AI description. It's like, oh, there's a false emperor. They've been sent to get rid of him. It sort of creates kind of the illusion that you're sort of seeing the end before the beginning. Oh, okay, now I get it. And then I jump back in. I'm like, okay, now I'm with it. But, you know, there is something to be said for you just cannot confuse your reader this much. The problem, this is over familiarity with your audience, because I think they're assuming that I am the kind of Warhammer 40,000 aficionado that just knows all this. I just know all the lore, so I'll immediately recognize it. And I just didn't, because I'm more of a Warhammer fantasy guy. I know a lot more of the lore of fantasy than I do 40K. So I was totally lost. But now that I understand what's going on in the beginning, it's pulling me in, and I'm getting excited. Fu Man, you're laughing? You're laughing? Seriously? Okay, where is the next item in the stack? I do have a Fleekazoid video. Let's just try the Fleekazoid video and see how we do. Mr. Producer. Here we go. So Fleekazoid has a video titled How Marathon Became Hated by the Internet. Roll tape.
Pimps, I've been monitoring the situation. Fleek, I can't read this. It's because it's a bunch of squiggly lines, pimp. Keep trying. Last week, Americans invaded a market once again that historically has never worked out. A move some are saying could escalate us to World War III. That's right, last week, America launched Concorde 4. Marathon is the high god killer. I'll say it. I'll also say this game is going to kill me. This shit makes me want to quit gaming and start bird watching. Well, there's a wobbling tit. There's a Pekingese worm gobbler. Never mind, that was your mom. This game's got me reading self-help books. Did you know it was Confucius who once said, "Man who keeps hand in pocket feels cocky all day." As you can see, he was feeling...
It's so juvenile. It's so juvenile. It's so funny. Man who keep hand in pocket feel cocky all day.
Feeling a little cocky when they took this picture of him. Marathon is the greatest proof that Crimson Desert will succeed. People say, give it a fair shot, it gets good after 20 hours. How many hours until I'm allowed to call it shit? Get out! You people will say the same thing about Chubby Chasers Gathering, which also had a server slam last weekend, and 3 people showed up. 2 of them were this chick. Yeah, she heard there were servers and started looking for food. No respect. Some people are asking me to stop preying on this game's downfall. I'm not. I don't have to. This game costs $250 million to make. They have to be in top 5 of all of capitalism to consider this game a success. Bungie's gotta quit preying on their own downfall. Was $150 million of that budget marijuana? Because you're high as shit thinking you can pull that off, even if you like the game. This is a ball-stomping extraction shooter. Kinks like this don't pull in Madden money. Do you know how many live service games there are in 2026? You have to make some life-changing shit to take people away from the live service games that they've already developed Stockholm Syndrome for. Recently, Billy Joel said he used crack to get off heroin. That's what you need. You need crack. Marathon is not crack. Marathon is like a Care Bear took a shit in your eyes. These colors even got my character season up. Is this game actually Concorde 3? No. Is it more fun calling this Concorde 3 than playing it? Yes. And before I get into the gameplay, why'd you take some random IP from the 90s and decide to bring it back as something completely different? You just pissed off 3 people for no reason. This game shouldn't be called Marathon, it should be called Diabetes. Originally, our characters were supposed to be called Runners, but then all the playtesters made fun of them, so they changed it to Eaters, because they're slow as fuck. We've been eating too much RAM, man. Look at how slow this is. I'm so fucking This is not slowed down footage. I'm not lying here. This is genuine delusion. I do 3 slides and my guy's like... I try to sneak around and I sound like... I don't like playing team games because there's an education crisis in this country. I watched one of my teammates trap himself in a box for 5 minutes. I'm done with extraction shooters. I'm sick of smuggling hemorrhoid pillows out of exotic locations. The first 3 hours of this game are intriguing because between epileptic seizures and figuring out this menu, you got a lot of stuff to do. But then you figure it out and you go, oh, this is just a boring version of Halo, aka Bungie's last 3 games. Marathon has no stakes. I've looked all over. There's no T-bones, no filet mignon, no prime rib. It's just a bunch of welfare queens using free loadout to fight 30 bots and the occasional player. On a positive note, at least when this game dies, I'll run into just as many people. Where this game differs from Tarkov is instead of drunk Slavs, you're fighting 200 spongy clankers. And instead of hackers, you have a giant fucking cube. But I'm confused. How can they have a cube when The Cube is a separate extraction shooter coming later this year? And how can The Cube call itself The Cube when another cube-based extraction shooter The Cube Save Us is coming out next week. Then we got the Gabe Cube, not to be confused with the Game Cube, not to be confused with the Rubik's Cube or the Ice Cube or Cuba. Gooding Jr. Why did Bungie leave Microsoft so they wouldn't have to make one game just to leave and work on one game for 15 years? These are all thoughts I had as I sat in the bushes waiting for the Cube to leave us. God made me for more than this. The door flaps are the highlight of Marathon. Shut up and listen to this.
The door flaps.
Oh, yeah! Give the flap guy a raise! Fuck! This feels good. As usual, when I don't enjoy a game, I like to understand the other side. So let's hear from them. I'm having a great time with this game. My grifter chud mother was talking about some go outside and touch grass. What does that bitch know? Marathon's not outside, Marathon's inside. A lot of people are asking how this game shapes up to Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders is fun because people don't play it. This game is also fun if you don't play it. If you're a VR chat player or got banned from Christian Mingle and you're coming to PvP games looking for hot single Latinas in your area, I got good news. They're not here, but we do have Prox Chat. Originally, Marathon wasn't gonna have Prox Chat because they thought it'd be too toxic. But then they saw all those clips of burnt penis advertised Arc Raiders all the way up to 10 million copies sold, and they said, fuck them. If an 8-year-old wants to yell slurs at a father of 4, that's just the importance of community. I'm so...
Seriously, Marathon looks like the most boring piece of shit to me I've ever seen. Like, it just, the colors, the style of guns, I'll never forget the first time I ever saw someone playing Mass Effect, and I just was dropping in. I didn't know anything about it. The armor, this is the first game too. The armor looked incredible. It was like one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. The guns, the way they they fold out and then collapse, like all that stuff. And just the way all the technology looked, the characters, everything about it just looked so vivid and lifelike. Hang on, cough button for a second. I need the cough button as a producer. It was just incredible. And you look at Marathon and it looks like the opposite of that. It's basically the opposite of that. It just looks boring, generic. It looks AI generated to me. It's just an AI generated version of a video game. It looks like a corporate video in which they just needed to show an example of what a video game could look like for the corporate video about video games.
Proud of you, my little Marathon player. The gunplay is decent.
Seriously, I don't think that was the trigger warning. I need a trigger warning for that.
Game gets grindy quick. I'm not going to put 20 hours in to unlock a purple gun.
Door flaps. I know. Star Fury. The door flaps. That is pretty funny. It's, oh my God, give that guy a raise. It feels so good to go through the door flaps.
Already got a purple cannon and a purple sword. The time to kill sucks. The game's glitchy as hell. I keep getting this issue where I die and the enemies don't. Pimps, I don't know much. But I do know that in the grimdark future, everyone has a Hank Hill ass. I look like a really...
what in the hell is this? What is this?
No. That's not a robot. That's the chick from Concord. And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for the cube.
Now, I just think about how, when I look at Mass Effect, when I didn't know anything about it, the armor, the weapons, I immediately wanted to know about it. I wanted to know, why is the armor like that? What time period is this in? What mission are they on? What's going on in this galaxy? Where are those aliens from? Those were all of the things racing through my mind. I look at something like Marathon, 0 questions. I have 0 questions. There's nothing I want to know about this. I don't care about any of this. I don't care what the fucking cube is. I don't give a fuck about any of their armor. I don't care who these characters are. Same deal with Highguard. It's like, why is the guy using a high-powered assault rifle on the back of a flying Pegasus in an ancient Viking village that's in space? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
The cube has spoken! I've changed my mind. This game is Concord 3. As in 3 months till layoffs. The mighty cube has foretold it. You people blindly hyping this game up disgust me. Now, if you excuse me, I gotta go hype this game up. Open parentheses. Note. Put a blindfold on fleek. Thanks to the flock of pimps and thanks to everybody for you.
Flock of Pimps. That's such a great name for his audience. I wish I had thought of that. I wish I had thought of calling you guys the Flock of Pimps. It just wouldn't fit with my personality type, you know. It just wouldn't work. But I do envy it. I envy it greatly. Sailors and Star Nuts, that's mine. Sailors, Fleek probably wouldn't consider that as cool as Flock of Pimps. And I can understand that. But, we're more aspirational on the Swords of Starships channel, which is why we're going to find something else fun to watch. Okay, what do we got? I was going to talk about the Mando and Grogu trailer. Because you know what the amazing thing is, they played the Mando and Grogu trailer in the theater before Project Hail Mary, and I was actually it's one of those things where I know what the movie's going to be, so I'm not actually excited for the movie because I see through the illusion, it's like the key jangling. But when you just kind of put that aside, I mean, it's in the theater with spectacular sound, and it is Star Wars, and it is all those tropes of like adventure and excitement and fun. And it was kind of winning me over a little. At least the most recent trailer. Grab that trailer. Grab that trailer, Mr. Producer. Maybe we'll close out with the Dune 3 trailer. The only problem is they always block that. They block Warner Brothers is terrible. I'll have to revise the stream if I do the Dune 3 trailer. But it was great though. The Dune 3 trailer, awesome. I had a Gen Z coworker of mine ask me what movie I'm most excited for, and I said Dune 3, definitely Dune 3, even over Avengers Doomsday. And I was like, that's not how he sounds, but that's kind of neat. That's not how he sounds, but that's how I'm going to represent him. Even over Avengers Doomsday. And I was like, yes, absolutely. Absolutely over Avengers Doomsday. Now, I'm probably a little more excited for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I don't know. It's about an even split than Dune, because Spidey's my boy. And it looks like it's going to be pretty good. But here we go. Let's just grab the newest Mando trailer. I think this is the one I saw in the theater. You want to watch it, Star Fury? Must we? Okay. Okay. I'm going to use it as setup. Doomsday's going to be shit. Spider-Man looks way better. Agreed, Star Fury. Now, yeah, I think this is the one.
This isn't about revenge. It's about preventing another war.
You think the Empire's gone? It's lurking, rebuilding. It's coming for your Republic.
Who cares? I will say, I did have that kind of feeling. Who cares? If you know the First Order is what it leads to, it really... there's no way to get invested in this plot.
For all of us, maybe everything needs risking.
Is this an actual trailer? This seems like a fan trailer. I mean, it's...
You're a clan of two. A Mandalorian and a child of destiny.
He will suffer.
Yeah, this is the one. I think this is the one I saw in the theater.
Then it will be his turn.
And the Hutts are now speaking English, which that I did flag that. I was like, that's a betrayal.
Before going into harm's way, check your armor. I won't always be around to protect him.
There's like the plot is so vague, but I will say that the concept of like I have to protect him. There could be potential in this. I don't think this was ever the right choice for the next Star Wars movie. I think that's just a really bad decision. This movie's going to be bad. But in isolation, some of the stuff in the trailer seems like it could be fun.
Hey, never touch the buttons.
Din Djarin. We started hearing whispers about Thrawn's return.
I don't... What? This is a fan-made... This is some fan-made garbage. That's what this is. This is not the one I saw in the theater, but anyway... Yeah, that's what it is. It's fan-made garbage. Downvote that, Mr. Producer. Downvote it! Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. It can't be that one, can it? Maybe it is. Who would make a fan trailer out of Mandalorian and Grogu? Probably people that get all their views off of clickbait from people like me who just wanted to show you what I saw in the theater and I clicked on the wrong thing. All right, fuck it. To hell with it then. So anyway, let's grab Mr. Grizzy because there is a type of fan who is very excited about this movie. Oh, crap. Like, hang on. All right, copy and paste. Mr. Grizzy, a servant of humanity, must Disney Star Wars shills defend the Mandalorian and Grogu. Here we go. I have not seen this. This is just for fun. We gotta get a Grizzy video in.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think this movie will make $1 billion somewhat easily. I think it'll make $2 billion if it's a really good movie.
I saw some kid. God bless him. God bless him. This kid's predicting Mandalorian and Grogu makes $2 billion.
$2 billion? If word gets out there, The Mandalorian and Grogu is the blockbuster movie of the summer in 2026, yeah, why not? Force Awakens made $2 billion.
I will never go to Vegas for you, kiddo. I'll never go to Vegas for you. For $2 billion, $2 billion. I don't care if it's the next Citizen Kane. That thing ain't making $2 billion.
When you're a clown, nobody takes you seriously.
Even his fellow shills, are like, you're delusional, man. Blind, meaningless praise.
I think a lot of fans are going to regret writing off the movie from the off, because this is one of the best Star Wars trailers I've seen in a very, very long time.
But 90% of people are talking positively about this trailer, which is exactly what we need as Star Wars fans.
This isn't necessarily just Mando Grogu side quest turned into a film.
Oh my god. Oh my god, her background. Oh. Look at this. In the bottom right, she has May and Solus from Acolyte. Wow. Look. I get being a Disney Star Wars shill for like the sequels or Mandalorian and Grogu. Like I can understand that. You know what I mean? But she has May, or I guess it's Osha. I don't know which it is. It's probably Osha and Master Solus from Acolyte. As a portrait that's featured prominently, there is no way that nobody loves the Acolyte that much. And the amazing thing about it, too, is Osha force choked and strangled to death Master Solus. So having a picture of them together like it's some kind of family portrait is sick. Sick. These are sick people, man. They suffer. No, seriously. Think about this. This is like having a picture. What is an analogy that could fit this? I've got to think about this. What is an analogy? There's almost nothing to compare this to. It's so bizarre. It's like literally you have a picture of two characters that it's meant to be sort of like happy and aspirational. The bitch killed the guy. She killed the guy that's in the picture with her. It's sick. It's not exactly the comparison I'm looking for, but the only thing that this reminds me of, I'll tell you what this reminds me of. In the anthology series by Ryan Murphy, Monster, which so far has encapsulated the Jeffrey Dahmer story, the Menendez brothers story, and the Ed Gein story. So he basically tells stories about killers over the course of a season. It is fairly brilliant, but it's dark as hell. In the Menendez brothers one, which is about how the Menendez brothers killed their own parents, there's a picture. Monster Menendez story poster. That should find it. It's like a family photo. This is it. This is it. Yes, this is exactly it. This is what this reminds me of. The cover from the Menendez brothers story, and this is their family picture that they took shortly before the two brothers shotgunned their parents to death in their den to steal their wealth, which is like horrific and terrible. And that's what this reminds me of. That this chick has this picture of Osha and Solus looking sort of happy and together as like master and apprentice. What the fuck, man? This is sick.
Necessarily just Mando Grogu's side quest turned into a film.
Yeah, it's pretty much accepted by everyone.
Crowbar. I bet she painted that garbage. I bet she painted herself, you said. She probably did. She probably did. You can tell she painted it. Star Fury says it looks like a 4-year-old cerebral palsy victim. Made it.
Everyone, including most Disney Star Wars fans, that's exactly what this movie is. Rather than saying it's season 4 of the show condensed into a movie, I'm saying it's a filler episode of the show stretched out into a 2
Fu Man agrees. She definitely did.
hour movie. And I really do think that's what it's going to be.
What did you give this new full trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu, buddy?
I gave it an 8.
I also gave it an 8.
I did also give it an 8 because...
Now, this I find interesting because these people talk about how much they like this trailer and how excited they are for this movie, but for whatever reason, they can't really explain why.
I thought it was a really good trailer. And there were a lot of moments I really enjoyed. What's to come after this?
Because there's nothing in this trailer to really get all that excited.
She's like, it was a really good trailer, and it had lots of things in it that I enjoyed. And this is what you do for a living? Imagine if I'm like, Project Hail Mary, guys. It was a really good movie, and in it, there were many things I enjoyed. So I hope that review was helpful, and I hope that expressed fully why I really enjoyed Project Hail Mary. Good night.
Excited about, so they gotta just pull shit out of their asses.
It's Jon Favreau directing at the end. It could be peak, bro. It could be.
What an enjoyable puppet. What a goddamn enjoyable puppet. I love that. That's so fun, dude.
What the fuck? Such a weird shit to say. What an enjoyable puppet. What the fuck, man? Why is he saying that? You know, the only thing I could think when I hear that, where is it, Mr. Producer? I gotta find it. There it is. Okay, here we go.
Jesus.
That's so fun.
I just think Grogu's so cute. I just want to see him go on adventures and be friends.
Yeah.
You're a freak.
And honestly, this is perfect. This is all I needed. This is all I needed. I just needed a little something.
Star Fury said he wants to fuck the puppet. We are all thinking it. We all knew that. You're just saying what everyone's thinking.
something that we can, I don't know.
Oh my God, when Darth, was it Darth Melvin? I'm saying that right? Darth Melvin, not to be confused with Darth Merlin. Darth Melvin from Knights of Melvin. He had a thumbnail of the shills, and it was one of the shills, and he had photoshopped in, stuff in the background, and one of them was a Grogu fleshlight. It's the most fucked up thing I've ever seen. And it's funny too, because I'm looking at the thumbnail and I didn't quite catch it at first. I'm distracted by everything, and then I noticed that there's a Grogu fleshlight in the car. I'm like, oh my God, that's so fucked up. It's so funny though. I wish I could find that. I want to find that thumbnail. That's savage, man. Savage, to use the parlance that is in vogue.
Theorize about now. Something that we can have some conspiracies now leading up to May of what all of this could mean.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I love that trailer. I thought that was really fun. Sigourney Weaver was my first crush as Dana in Ghostbusters, so anytime
nice.
Her beautiful face
Just
in the trailer.
What's with the logic with these weirdos? I like Sigourney Weaver too, okay. What does that have to do with whether she is a good fit for the story? Like, what is her character doing? She's being Sigourney Weaver. That's the only thing she's doing in the trailer. She's just there being Sigourney Weaver. There's no other reason for her to be there. It's just like the Linda Hamilton thing in Stranger Things season 5. Why is she in there? Well, she's in there because she's Linda Hamilton. She doesn't have a story. She doesn't have any meaningful motivation. She doesn't really have a character arc. She's not a compelling villain. She's basically a flat, one-dimensional character. But she's being Linda. She's Linda Hamilton, though. Linda Hamilton was in Terminator. Linda Hamilton is an action star. Linda Hamilton, therefore, makes sense in season 5 of Stranger Things.
It's going to get 2 thumbs up from me.
What? I smiled, I think, through the whole thing. I enjoyed it. You make me happy.
You have fun to get into some Now, I'm sure many of you have noticed this already, but when these Disney Star Wars fans talk about their expectations for The Mandalorian and Grogu, there's one word that they all seem to be using frequently.
Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, looks like fun.
I think this is going to be a pretty nice, fun movie.
Yeah, this looks really fun. There were a lot of really cool things in here.
This is gonna be fun.
This looks fun.
The Mandalorian has just been like this kind of mature but fun show.
It's there to have fun with familiar elements of Star Wars.
So, and yeah, like you were saying, this looks like a just really fun, pulpy adventure story.
Isn't it fun that Grogu touches too many buttons? It's all you need.
Finally, we get to see more of Pedro, which will be really fun.
This was a fun trailer, and that's all I need this movie to be. I'm not expecting it to be Andor. All I want is a fun pulp.
Oh my God. Ugh. I hate that he invoked Andor there. You take that word out of your mouth.
Be adventure.
Because they know when you call something...
It's such a weird compare. Look, I love Andor, but I am not going to pretend that Andor is like Star Wars. You know, it's a Star Wars tale that is meaningful and is and sits well in the original series lore, but it's not thematically. It's not the right tone for most Star Wars adventures. It's a specific kind of story that fits in a specific space. So comparing this to Mando Grogu is just completely wrongheaded.
Something fun, you're not necessarily calling it good.
That just looks like fun.
Honestly, I don't disagree with you, Star Fury. Andor is Star Wars adjacent at best. Look, the problem is the lore has been so polluted, it's sort of meaningless to say whether it fits in the canon or not. But I would say that assuming Star Wars were still a healthy brand and everything was respected, I would say Andor, yeah, it's adjacent to the mainline Star Wars story. But yes, tonally, thematically, philosophically, it just is in a very different world than, the saga proper. But I do think it has something meaningful to contribute. But it doesn't in any way compare to a Mandalorian and Grogu. It just doesn't compare to that at all. It's just a weird... I don't need it to be Andor. What? That's such a bizarre thing to say. You're basically saying I'm okay with this being a filler episode of a TV show marketed as a movie. I'm okay with it being subpar, mediocre, underwhelming. That's what you're justifying what you know it is, which is it is garbage. It's desperate flailing on the part of Disney.
Mm-hmm. And I gotta be
it's too little, too late.
To be honest with you, after all the real serious Star Wars stuff we've had, that's fine.
But you're not calling it bad either, because fun in general is a positive word. So it's a way to protect themselves from coming across as toxic for not liking Disney Star Wars, and for the paid Disney shit.
Bingo. Grizzy, this is why I say it. Grizzy has a doctoral degree in shill studies. He is an expert of the shills. He understands everything about their motivation, and he cut right to the heart of the matter. They are saying it's fun. I don't need it to be Andor. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so good. I liked the trailer. I liked it. I think that the Budweiser thing was fun. They're saying that because what they really think is it's not that. It's not that good. It's no saga film. That's what they're really thinking. That is the God's honest truth that they will never admit. It's not a saga film. It's nowhere close. It's not going to be successful. Nobody cares about it. It is a desperate Hail Mary on the part of the failing Lucasfilm. But if they say any of that, then they are going against the message. And they can't do that.
Out there, it's a way for them to praise something without damaging their credibility, while at the same time not being negative or critical and risk getting uninvited to Disney Star Wars premieres and events. Trust me, these people know what they're doing when they use the word fun.
I think, and this is where I think some of my Star Wars brethren and I separate.
Brethren?
I think it's okay to have fun every once in a while.
What the fuck, man? This is such a stupid argument. He's setting up a false dichotomy in which he's saying, well, on the one hand, you have the Star Wars fans who they don't want to have fun. What? So stupid. So because I don't like Disney slop, it's because I don't want to have fun. And then there's the types of Star Wars brethren that they just want to have fun. Girls just want to have fun. So if I don't like slop, it's because I don't want to have fun. Well, all I can say, it's very simple. It's very simple.
Oh, you think it's slop. That's fine. But we live in a world full of hogs.
And you're looking at them.
Wow. But this trailer was fun. Mandalorian and Grogu was fun.
Like I said, this looks like a lot of fun. And if that's all this movie is, then I will be perfectly happy.
Now I'm going to bend over.
Star Fury says, Andor and Star Wars is like comparing NYPD Blue to Keystone Cops. That's fair. No, that's fair. Star Fury has not said anything I disagree with yet. Sigourney is a hot granny, but she will be... What? She's a hot granny, but she'll be shit in this movie. Well, I mean, she needs a part. It's like Katie Sackhoff. Katie Sackhoff is just... she's just the darling of sci-fi nerddom ever since she played Starbuck. But she's so boring as Bo-Katan. Just so boring.
When I do, start fucking.
Oh my God.
Stop being so toxic. If you don't like Star Wars, what are you even doing here? What are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your time? Why are you intentionally watching something to hate it? Do you know how horrible that is for your psyche and your physical being?
Triggered. The normal conversation around...
So I'm just supposed to... So no matter what garbage comes out as Halo or Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or Star Wars or Star Trek or Doctor Who or any property whatsoever, no matter what garbage it is, no matter what it does to the canon, no matter whether the characters suck or they don't, if I don't like it, I'm not a fan of that property. If I'm a fan of that property, I unquestioningly and unconditionally accept and love everything it produces, no exceptions. That's insane.
Star Wars
and
on the internet.
By the way, that is a very unfortunate looking man in that previous clip.
It sucks ass.
I think that hating on Star Wars is trendy, and I do think that the people who have made up their mind about Disney Star Wars are not going to bother giving this a shot.
And I think that's...
But they're a loud minority.
Keep telling yourself that, sweetheart.
Herein lies the problem. Is like we have to apologize for having any critical things about it because it gets lost in the waves of completely disingenuous criticism.
You feel pressured to apologize for criticizing Disney Star Wars because, God forbid, you get lumped in with the toxic fandom you hate so much, right?
You have ruined everything and make it to where I can't even criticize something without first trying to make sure that I don't get lumped in with you idiots.
Right.
What a bunch of fucking pussies. Fuck them.
Sure, there's plenty of people online, bad actors, bots, all the things. People who have been inundated.
Oh my God. What the fuck, man? How is this guy has been on the internet forever. What's that even like for his audience?
For 10 years with being told they should hate Star Wars in their formative years, so they believe they should hate Star Wars instead of forming their own opinion.
And people who literally
he's got his nose all stuffy from crying. I'm so glad that my gimmick... I wish I had a gimmick. You have to have something that is like driving massive views for it to even be a gimmick. I guess when I find it, I'll know it. I'm really glad, though, that my gimmick is not crying. That would suck. I'd hate that. Starfree says, I never watch something with the intention of hating it. I want good stuff. It's just like the industry keeps failing me. Well, go see Project Hail Mary, Starfree. I promise you it's a smash success, and you probably already saw it, so see it again. And I am watching One Piece Season 2. I haven't gotten very far. I've only did one episode, so I'll keep you posted on that. I would not have watched half of the things that I've reviewed on this channel if it weren't for this channel. Like Snow White, I would never have seen that movie if it weren't for this channel. And what's funny is after I saw that, and it was the next week, I think it was Minecraft movie, I seriously was struggling. I was like, I don't think I got another one of these in me. It was so bad. I was like, Minecraft movie was so dumb. It was so dumb.
Rewarded for praising and defending Disney Star Wars, they're the genuine ones, of course. It's the haters and the critics. They're the ones who are disingenuous.
If you are actively seeking out things to intentionally make you angry, you're doing life wrong. Okay?
Now,
well, it's more accurate to say I'm seeking out things to make fun of, and it's look. Sometimes it is just a little bit fun to do just a little bit of.
What are you laughing at?
Unbelievable, Mr. Producer. Why is it always doing that? It moved on me. Well, you're supposed to fix it. How is that my job? Anyway, I don't know why it keeps moving on me like that.
Now, the only people I've seen that actually are angry, as you say...
No, stop, Hitty. Don't say that. Don't say sorry, Captain, for making you watch all that shit for us. Well, you know, all I had to do was wait for Fu Man, because he just says, I'm not. I voted for this. I know you did. Fu Man! Because I tried to get out of seeing a Minecraft movie, and you in the Discord, you basically said, no, you got to go see it. Or something. You nudged me in the direction. But no apologies, Dustov. It is a cross I bear happily. It is necessary. It is difficult work, but it is necessary. Oh my God, what did I have on the screen there? I am sorry.
Are Disney
really
Star Wars The
sorry
Mandalorian fans who are pissed off that a majority of the fandom isn't as excited for this movie as they are.
I'm probably going to crash out a little bit.
And the thing anything where people say there's no source material, this is what she meant. This is not a story that has been told. Mando and Grogu is not Batman. He's a little green alien puppet. Do you guys not like fun?
Not your definition.
Star Wars is like, why? Why are you wasting your time being angry about a movie or a TV show? Shut up. Find something you like or move that energy into something that matters.
Okay, well, how about this? If Disney Star Wars was truly as good as you say it is, to the point that you were crying while reacting to the trailer, then why do the criticisms of the, as you shall say, vocal minority bother you so much?
And you know what? I don't care. You want to hate, you go ahead and hate. Thanks for the money. Thanks for the clicks. What do I care?
What a pussy.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing.
Still see some people saying like it just feels like a Disney Plus show. I couldn't disagree more with that. I feel like this does look like it is going to be presented really well.
Forget about the Super Bowl commercial.
It does look like it is going to be
What was that
presented
quote?
really well.
He had a commenter say, I liked how they showed Pedro to reassure us, yes, he is in fact in this movie and not just his voice. Oh, that's so pathetic. Imagine being this pathetic. They're like, oh, I'm really glad that they showed that he's really in it. They showed his face because that means that he didn't just voice the character. We're getting something this is a quality product.
Forget about the Super Bowl commercial. That shit didn't happen. This one actually made me excited. I'm willing to see this.
Did you get excited about the puppet, sir? Are you excited about the puppet?
Got my ticket price.
Take my money, Disney!
I wouldn't say it's the most expansive thing. Like, it's not doing a whole lot to push Star Wars forward, but as long as other stories are doing that, I'm fine to sit and play with the Star Wars toys we have.
Same, yeah. Expect disappointment and you will never get disappointed.
Because I know there's a lot of people that don't have faith in The Mandalorian. They don't have faith in Star Wars. They don't have anything. You know, you say anything online these days that you're positive. I just miss those days of Star Wars, honestly. I feel like the Mandalorian era of Star Wars was kind of peak.
So the hype level is going through the roof for this movie. Even the normie fans are talking about it.
2 billion.
I did say 2. I stand by it. Whoa!
Everybody just relax. When it is successful, and again, I think it'll make $1 billion. Success does not mean it has to make $1 billion.
Whoa, wait a minute. You and your friends were just saying multiple times that $2 billion is definitely a possibility. Now you're backing off and
quietly
saying that if it makes less
revised it.
than half of that, it's still a success?
You went full retard, man.
I'm telling you guys, if this movie comes out and makes, say, $350 million, which is less than what Solo made, by the way, if it makes $350 million, these guys are going to come out and say that that was a success. Because that would be more than doubled its budget, and that would be a massive success for Disney Lucasfilm. That's going to be the cope right there. Trust me. And I will have that and more for you guys on future Mandalorian and Grogu videos. But for now, thanks for watching. I am
Hat tip, Mr. Grizzy. Another brilliant segment. I am so curious. I am just curious as can be about how this movie's going to do. Like, this could be. I don't think it's certainly not going to make $1 billion. I think there's a shot. I think it has a shot at being profitable. And that is my most optimistic projection about this movie, Mandalorian and Grogu. But I am so curious and so fascinated to see how it shakes out, because what if it's a total flop? I think that Grogu, the character, Baby Yoda, is enough of a cultural phenomenon to bring people to the theater. I do think that. It's the one thing Disney Star Wars has. The one and only thing, you could even say. But I just wonder if that's enough. So what if it is a disaster? What if it is a giant flop? That could be fun. So we will be here for that. But I do think we're going to have to start wrapping this thing up, my dear chat. Oh, I did want to give you a nice little palate cleanser though before we go. I got a couple palate cleansers for you. Speaking of professionals, is there any more seriously amazing professional in all of Hollywood than Keanu Reeves? I want to show you this. Hang on. You just have to see this, okay? We're closing it out with Hope for Humanity. Okay, so here's the context here, if you don't know. Keanu Reeves was at, I don't know if it was a convention or a book signing. It was something like that. It was a meet and greet type event. And this kid came up and told him that he was his favorite actor. And this is the result. Okay, are you ready for this? Here we go, Mr. Producer.
I'm such a big fan.
What's your name?
Noah. My name is Noah.
Hi, Noah. I'm Keanu.
You're probably my favorite actor in the whole world.
Oh my gosh,
You're the
Noah,
best.
thank you. Did you see Duke Kaboom in Toy Story 4?
Yeah, he's my favorite character.
Canada's greatest stuntman! Well, I'm glad you liked it. I really liked playing it, dude.
I'm such a...
Oh my God. It's this is happiness distilled and like refined. It's the most beautiful. This kid is so adorable. He's just like, you're my favorite. You're just the best. And Keanu is like, God, what a good person. What an amazingly awesome person he is. It's just, one more time. I've watched this on a loop like 5 times. It's so amazing.
I'm such a big fan.
What's your name?
Noah. My name is Noah.
Hi, Noah. I'm Keanu.
You're probably my favorite actor in the whole world.
Oh my God. It just kills me, man. It's so adorable.
Oh my gosh,
You're the
Noah,
best.
thank you. Did you see Duke Kaboom in Toy Story 4?
Yeah, he's my favorite character.
Canada's greatest stuntman! Well, I'm glad you liked it. I really liked playing it, dude.
I'm such a big fan.
You know, there's something so beautiful about how it's just, he's using his art to bring something beautiful to the world. It's like, it's a gift that he's giving. And the thing is, he's getting a gift in return. That is the amazingly beautiful thing about it, is this kid is just giving him the gift of just the childlike wonder and joy and just excitement about something that he loves. And there's no thought about how famous Keanu is, or like, you know, it's just, it's just moment of honesty and sincerity and just, I don't know. Maybe it's better not to put it in words, but it's just so beautiful. I just love it. Okay, so that's your timeline cleanser. And I have one more for you. Maybe I should have I should have done this one first, but either way, they're both charming in their own way, okay? They both are. I got to full screen it.
Jenny, are you
So Ricky Berwick is a gift to humanity, okay? The title of the video is... What was the title? The title is My Good Kitty. Okay, are you ready? Okay, here we go.
Who's a good kitty? Are you a good kitty? Googie, googie, goo goo. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Your turn. Who's a...
One more time.
Good kitty. Are you a good kitty? Googie, googie, goo goo. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Your turn.
I don't know how he comes up with shit like that, but that's pretty funny. Pretty sure every cat feels that way, says Star Fury. No, that's 100%. Fu Man's like, what the fuck? Lamau. Star Fury says Matrix. What was this? Crowbar says, what's your favorite Keanu movie? He says Speed. Yes, Keanu is the best. Fu Man, yes, people underestimate how much profit comes from rewatches and word of mouth. I think Hail Mary is benefiting from that, 100%. Star Fury says Bill and Ted is his favorite Keanu movie. Matrix is my fave, says Fu Man. Star Fury says close second. That's a great question. What would be my favorite Keanu Reeves movie? Oh, that's an interesting one. I mean, The Matrix looms large for sure. The Matrix is probably the quintessential Keanu movie. It's probably his best role ever is Neo. There's no doubt about that. I'm tempted to say John Wick because fuck, that first John Wick movie is incredible. Incredible. I love that first John Wick movie. It is a masterpiece. All the successive John Wick movies are gravy and they're awesome and I enjoy them. And I love the character. I love the John Wick character. He's phenomenal. Neo's still probably his better character than even John Wick, as great as John Wick is. But if you're just asking me what's the best Keanu movie, I'm going to give you an unconventional one, Crowbar. My favorite, I think the best Keanu Reeves movie, The Devil's Advocate. The Devil's Advocate. Al Pacino plays the devil as a lawyer. And Keanu plays this Southern lawyer defense attorney who gets off evil people because he just loves to win. That movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Terrified me. And in retrospect, I rewatch it, and it's just fantastic. It's such a good movie, and Keanu is great in that movie. Fantastic. Star Fury says recency bias. I literally just said Star Fury. That's not recency bias. The Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino. I'm voting that as my best Keanu movie. Seriously. What's recency bias? Because I did say that Neo is his best character, even though John Wick is probably a more iconic role for Keanu than, iconic is, no, Neo is his most iconic role, but I guess what I would say is John Wick is a role that he owns even more than Neo. I think Keanu owns that character more than he even owns Neo. In terms of like the fusion of the character with the actor. You know, Neo is meant to be an everyman. And the reason Keanu inhabits that role so well is because he is kind of an everyman in that role as Neo. But John Wick is just John Wick. and Keanu is John Wick. I mean, it just is. So I don't think that's recency bias, because I'm basically saying that I think Neo is his more iconic character, but John Wick is probably his more signature character, if that makes sense. You were talking about John Wick recency bias, but I was saying the first film is the best one. And the fourth one is probably the second best John Wick movie, because the fourth one was pretty brilliant. It did get a little cartoonish at parts. The amount of times he falls from like 5 stories and is fine, it gets a little ridiculous in John Wick 4. But other than that, I really hope there's a John Wick 5. I'll watch it. Fuck. What else? Okay, we got to close it out, folks. I'm just seeing if there was anything else I had. I do feel like the Ricky Berwick Good Kitty. It's just so good. I mean, maybe it's just fair to say that parting is such sweet sorrow. It just really is. Is this the one I need? No, that's not the one. Where is it, Mr. Producer? Why can't I find it? Maybe it is this one. There it is. That is the one. Okay. I'm away for 1 month and I forget my whole playlist. Where is it? There we go. Bring it down a little. Well, we had fun, didn't we, chat? Isn't it fun hanging out on the Captain's Cast live on a Thursday? That was the Picard maneuver. It's the Picard maneuver. We must do this again soon, Captain. We will, Starfury. We will. Don't you doubt it. The channel will expand. We will take over. We will one day, 1 million views one day. You just wait. The work continues. It's slow work. It's delayed gratification work, but the novel is coming along, and it is only the beginning of many novels. It is the first of multiple volumes. It's going to be a saga. I'm doing this manga style. It's like One Piece. It's just going to go and go and go. Holy moly. Crowbar, right at the end, right under the wire, a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Crowbar. Thank you very much indeed, sir. Captain, salute to you, sir. Amazing hanging out with you all. Just throwing a few emotes in there. Hell yeah. I love doing this. It's a lot of fun. But alas, the hour is late, and the captain must, too bad. Oh my god, Fu Man with a $2 super sticker. Thank you, Fu Man. Unbelievable. You guys are just too great. All right, well, I am Captain Garrett of the Swords of Starships channel. And until next time, that's me saying I'll see you very soon out there.